Hey besties, welcome or welcome back. Today I have over 3 hours worth of Christmas DIY crafts for you, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy. I was gifted a bunch of window clings, and I think they are either from Dollar Tree, Dollar General, those two stores. And then I've also got this really cool set of cutting boards that I got at Goodwill for $4.99. There's 6 of them and a holder. Great deal. So I just sanded it down, and then I used my little ladybug vacuum to clean up my desk. And then I've got a mister. I just fill it with water and just lightly spray it over the wood. And I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum white, linen white chalk paint. And I'm going to do like a whitewash on both sides. Dry it off with my heat tool from Amazon. Don't forget, all my favorite tools are down in my Amazon store. The link's in the description box. So now both sides are painted and dry. I'm going to take a little bit of painter's tape and just kind of eyeball across, and then I thought better of it. Well, let's measure it and see. I don't know. Do you guys do that too? You think you can see evenly, and then it turns out this time it worked. I'm going to use my Crimson Beautiful Red chalk paint from Waverly, and I'm going to just paint the top portion. And you notice I'm painting away from the tape, and look, it gives such a nice crisp line. I love doing that. Now I'm going to take this little buffalo check or plaid ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue to just go ahead and glue that right on the line. I kind of wish I had done it just below the line, but you know what? It's okay. You just see a little bit of the red going through, and I hadn't thought about that till it was too late, and I didn't want to reposition it, sand off the glue. You know how that goes, right? I'm going to snip off the ends with my scissors just to have a nice clean line there. I didn't want to wrap it around this time. There is the window cling I'm going to use. Isn't he a cute little snowman with a buffalo check Christmas tree? I'm going to fussy cut around it so all you see is the snowman with the tree and presents. I'm going to lay some Mod Podge over the top of both the red and the white paint. And then I'm going to remove the little snowman from his paper backing, and I'm going to place him right on the cutting board. I am loving how this is looking so far. So cute. I'm going to cover the top with some more of the Mod Podge. That way he'll be sealed in, and although I won't use this cutting board, I will put it up as a decoration. I'm also going to add some more of that ribbon in the hole on the top. And I love him. Look how cute. Do you guys think he's adorable too? He's going to look so cute with my cutting board collection that I have started. I've already got 2 now for winter, and who knows, I might add another one. We'll see. I still love red trucks, so does my husband, so we're going to use one of those clings. I found this little house at TJ Maxx for $2, and it was originally $6.99, and it's super cute. But I'm going to paint over it. First, I'm going to cover the chimney and the bottom with this black chalkboard paint from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to cover both the front and the back with the Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. The words are cute, and you could leave this just as it is, but I had something else in mind for this. So now that I have a nice surface to work with, I'm going to spruce this little house up by using a little tin tray from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make a metal roof. I've done this before on my channel, and I will link the video down below where I did it. So I'm just going to cut little strips out of this little tin tray, and I'm just going to make the roof line and hot glue them right on there, and then I just have to cut the little pieces on the chimney side because that's not one long piece. There's also a teeny little gap on the front and back where the chimney is, so I'll cut little pieces and I will glue them there, and I'll just use my little Dollar Tree clamps to hold it in place while it's drying. Besties, come visit me on social media. I love to see you there, and send me pics if you make anything that I might have inspired you to create. I lightly sanded the front and back, and then I'm going to take these 2 window clings because I'm going to make this 2-sided, and put some Mod Podge on both sides and then lay down the window clings. So one side will be the red truck with the Christmas tree for Christmas. The other side will be the tree with the deer and the snowflake for winter time, so that way I can turn it around after Christmas and keep using it because I'm really loving this one. So I just laid it down, pressed it in, and that's it. This is so easy. I am absolutely loving this one. It's another favorite, of course, of my husband's because it has the red truck. Besties, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button, and if you're not already, subscribe to my channel and turn the notification bell on. I would love to have you here. To finish it off, I'm just going to put Mod Podge over the top of both sides just to secure the window clings. And then I've got these two little buffalo check pre-made bows from Walmart last year. I'm going to put one on each side in the upper left corner. And that is it. It is so cute. This was so easy. I love this one. You don't have to add the metal roof. I just liked it. So anyway, let me know if this is something you would try. I love two-sided science. What about you guys? I have this thing about trying to get more for what I'm doing, you know? Anyway, I love this one. A little kid shovel at Dollar Tree a long time ago, and I thought I'm going to come up with something to do with it. So first thing is to get that tag off, which is impossible without the heat. And then I'm going to paint the entire thing with my Kills White primer paint, and I'm just doing that so everything will stick to it better. I know the handle's wood, so I didn't have to, but I love the way it looks when you do white under Antique Wax by Waverly. I just think it makes the wood even look better. So that's what I did. Next, I'm going to do a full galvanized look by using Waverly Steel, the chalkboard black paint, burnt umber, and this brushed metal silver that I got by Folk Art. And what I'm just going to do is start off with the steel, and I'm not doing a strong coat on purpose because I want you to see the white through it. Then I'm going to take a little brush and just dab the black all over it. You can see how I've covered it. And then I'm going to take the brushed metal silver and I'm going to dull down the black, and that leaves me with a really realistic looking, like old shovel look, like it's dirty and been used. Then I'm going to take the burnt umber with a makeup sponge and go around edges and make it look kind of rusted and weathered wherever there's a seam, you know, an edge, anywhere I think that it would have, you know, shown age. And I love the way it looks. And then I'm just going to sand down the parts of the handle where I touched it and the paint came off. And then I'm going to use that black paint with a sponge and go over it so it looks like a dirty handle. Isn't that amazing? That was a kid's shovel. Then I'm going to take this tag from Dollar Tree and I'm going to cut out some scrapbook paper that I got, I believe, at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. I can't remember. I got it last year. I'm just going to cut some strips. It kind of looks like a sweater pattern. I'm going to just put it around the edges and then take my sanding sponge and in a downward motion clean up the edges. It just works so well. And I used a glue stick for that. And then I'm going to put the white paint over the top of it and some more of the scrapbook paper on the back. And then I'll do the same thing to clean up the edges. And then I've got to poke a hole through the middle so that I can get like a little string in there. I'm going to cover it with Mod Podge. And then I'm going to take the two little window clings that I showed you earlier that say Jingle Bells, cut them in half so they're two words, and put them on there diagonally. Super cute. And this will get covered again with Mod Podge. I'm going to take all these ribbons that I've collected over the years and some like twine. I'm going to wrap it around the short end of my square so it's 6 inches, and then I will cut them all down. I did 6 of each, and then I'm going to dovetail the ends of the ribbons, and then I'm going to do a messy bow. So I'm just going to stagger them. So 2 of one, 2 of another, you know, all the way to the last one, and then repeat it again. And there's the finished one. Then I'm going to take that black and white baker's twine, tie around, and that makes my messy bow. You got to do a lot of fluffing, which I did off camera. Take a piece of that little red and white ribbon just to make the center, hot glued on. I've got this pick of bells that I found. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to hot glue it straight to the shovel so a little bit of it is in the mouth of the shovel and most of it's attached to the handle. I have these really cute green evergreen picks I get at Amazon, and I'm going to hot glue that right on there as well. Then I'm going to take the messy bow, put it up at the top, and this is turning out so cute. I am loving it. I put a string around the back so it could hang, also secured the messy bow a little more. I'm going to add the jingle bells by putting a little string through that and hot gluing it down so it sits exactly where I want it. You guys, I love this one. It's so cute. What do you think? I just had to do something with that shovel. I have one more. I'll have to come up with another plan for that. But I really love this one, and I hope you guys like it too. Another red truck. I couldn't resist, you guys. I do love them. So I'm going to take this silver tray that I got at the Dollar Tree. It's actually pretty sturdy for a Dollar Tree tray. Took off the tags on the back. I'm just going to cut out that truck with the tree, and it says Merry Christmas. I'm going to put some Mod Podge down and lay the window cling right on top. Super easy. I am going to add a little bit of embellishments, but honestly, this barely took any time at all. Just what an easy thing to do, and it turns out so beautiful. I'll cover it with Mod Podge again just to make sure that the window cling stays in place. I'm not happy with how the Mod Podge looks after it dries, so I end up adding some polyurethane on the top of it later. Now I'm going to add my hanger on there, just put some twine, hot glue it on, and then put a pretty red ribbon over the top just to kind of make it look nicer on the back. I just do that. I don't know what it is, but I don't like the look of just plain twine there most of the time. I've got these evergreens from Amazon and some cute little picks from Dollar Tree, and this one I think was from Hobby Lobby last year on sale. And I'm just going to do like a little corner swag thing where I put everything on one side or the top and then I put next to it. And it's just so pretty, just adds a little festive. Now you could just use this as a tray and not do all this, but since I decided to put a hanger, I thought it'd be really pretty to add a little bit of these embellishments. Now I'm going to add some other little picks that were cut off of like a Dollar Tree pick just to give it a little more dimension in that upper left corner. So I end up putting, I want to say like 6 of them on there. And then I put a pine cone right in the middle and those red berries from a pick. And that's it. This one is done. It's so stinking cute. You have to tell me what you think, and guess who wants this one? If you've been watching me for a while, you already know, but tell me in the comments. I want to see if you guess. I love this one. Super fun. And again, so fast and easy to do. Look how pretty that looks. I'm sorry, I just really love it. So festive and Christmassy. These 4 wood coasters that I got at the Goodwill. I think it was $2.99 for all 4 of them. Really nice thick wood. And I'm going to use those window clings you just saw. And I'm going to make the cutest little coasters. I've also got this placemat from Dollar Tree that's like a waterproof kind of like almost plastic. So I'm just going to cut out for the back of them to make that what the coasters sit on so it doesn't scratch anything. I'll cut 4 pieces that are a little bigger than the bottom of the coasters. I'm actually using the back side of the coasters because there was an engraved M that I would have had to spend a lot of time sanding it off, and this was so much easier. I'll give the back side of the coasters a very light sanding just to make sure that the surface is smooth. Then I'll take my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint and do 2 solid coats around the front, the sides, and just a little bit around the back. I'm going to take my Mod Podge and I'm going to cover the front before I lay down the little window clings. So the first one was just the perfect size. I didn't have to cut it up and I just placed it right on there. The next one I did have to cut because I didn't want it to be so long. I wanted it to all be in the bottom right corner. I thought that was really cute. And so I just cut that one to make 2 little lines of it. And this one I did 3 because it would have been too long no matter how else I did it. And I just think it came out super cute. And then for the last one I had to make 1 cut, but it's still really cute. And then I just cover them with Mod Podge to create a seal on the top for when you put glasses or cups on them. Now I'm going to take my squares that I cut out for the back, and I'm just going to use hot glue to get the first side on so it stays in place right away. And then I'll use my Beacon Fabric Tack glue to glue down the rest of it. Then I will get out my X-Acto knife and cut off the excess around the edges. And that's it. This one is done and it's so cute. And then I got a really cute ribbon with a red truck on it and tied them all up for when, you know, they're just sitting and not being used. But I love them. You have to let me know what you think. My house, we love plaid, partially because we both have Scottish in our background. Anyway, I'm going to take these ribbons that I've gotten at different stores. Most of them were $1, and occasionally I'll throw one in that was a little more that I got on sale. And I'm using this little wooden round from Dollar Tree, a skewer, and some beads that I got on Amazon. Also some beads that I got at Dollar Tree, those little square ones, really cute. I'm going to use the moss colored chalk paint and paint the little round. And then I'm going to draw the shape of the circle on this mat. It was like a place mat. It's kind of rubbery. I'm going to put that on the bottom so that way it'll have a nice grip. I'm going to glue the skewer right in. I'm going to start stacking the square beads. I will kind of secure them with a dab of hot glue. Then I'm going to take this gorgeous plaid ribbon and I'm going to trim the edge and poke it through the skewer, and then I'm going to kind of hold it down and look and see for making a Christmas tree out of ribbon, what would be the widest part on the bottom. And then I'll poke that through the skewer and I just secure that very bottom little piece to the one above it. Then I am going to start using the wooden beads in between, like every other kind of swirl, if you will, of the ribbon. So there goes a bead, and then I'm going to put the ribbon back on, and you're going to see I'm just going to go back and forth and gradually bring it up to like a triangle at the top, like a Christmas tree would. This is so cute and so easy. I saw something on Pinterest that was similar to this, not exactly, so I thought I would make it my own and just do something a little different with it, but I'm really loving it. And by putting it on that wood round kind of off to the back like that, that was where the hanger twine was. Now I have a place to set something. You could put a candle there. When you see it at the end, I put a little snowman there. You could do whatever you want. It's so cute. Or you can make little presents and put them there. That would be adorable. Now I just fold it over the top kind of so you don't see the seam and put that over the skewer, and I'm going to hot glue the two sides. And then I am going to end up with one last bead on the top, which I will also hot glue because I want to make sure it doesn't go anywhere and kind of seals everything in. I'm going to make 2 bows out of 2 different ribbons, just little shoestring bows, and I'm going to dovetail the ends. And then I'm going to glue those right to the front of that bead at the top, and I will snip the pointy edge off with my little clippers. That's how easy this one is, and it came out so cute. I really like it. You could do with any ribbon you like. You could even rip fabric and do this, make it kind of like shabby chic, you know. I think it would be super cute in all different patterns and all different styles. Let me know what you think. Use some of my buffalo check ribbon that I have. I have 3 different widths and 3 different qualities. Now the 2 bigger ones are wired and more expensive, but I'm going to use the Dollar Tree one for this. I'm also going to use a little bit of a bell kind of a twine and 1 little teeny silver ornament, which I'm going to paint with the metallic, well, brushed metal silver, so it's a little shinier. I'm going to take the buffalo check ribbon and I'm going to figure out about how long I want it to hang below the little ornament. The ornament's going to be a head, so I'm going to cut 4 pieces for the body. It's actually going to be a little Christmas angel. And then I'm going to cut 2 pieces for the wings, and they'll be a little shorter. I'm going to hot glue the 2 ends together to make like a loop. And I'm going to do that with all of my pieces that I've cut. Besties, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button. It tells YouTube to show my video to more people, and I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. So the first thing I'll do is turn the ornament upside down, and I'll glue the first 2 to the front, or actually that's the back, I believe. And then I will put the wings on, 1 on each side, and then I will put the other little loops for the body over that seam, so that way it covers it up. And now you can see the little shape of the angel. I'm going to take this little garland with the bells on it. I'm going to wrap it around and make a little halo. And then I'll leave enough on the bottom to hang down so I can attach it. So I'm going to snip it, and then I will just make sure it's going to fit on top of my little angel. And once I see that it will, I'm going to paint that garland. It's like wrapped in kind of a brown paper. I'm going to paint it with that brushed metal silver so that it matches the whole thing. Once I have that painted and it's dried, I'm going to hot glue it to the back of the little angel, and then I'm going to also attach it to where the fabric is. I'm going to cut another little piece of the ribbon and put it right over where I glued it so you won't see that. And then I've got this kind of like, I don't know, silver leaf sticks. I don't know what they are. Anyway, I'm going to cut a couple pieces off that, little teeny pieces, and hot glue them right under the angel's head. And just kind of makes for a little decoration there. Also covers the seam from where I put the ribbon. And I'm going to take one little red berry off of a pick and glue it right between those two little silver things. I guess they're little stems, I don't know. And then I've got this black and white baker's twine, and I'm just going to string it through, and I'm going to make a knot and cut off the end, and that will be the hanger. And I'll just put a dab of hot glue there to make sure it stays. This was so easy. Imagine the possibilities with all different ribbons you could make with this. So cute. Love this plaid ribbon, can you tell? Anyway, I've got this picture with apples in it for $5 from a thrift store. Now, I intended on using this whole frame, but as I was taking it apart, I realized I don't think what I was going to make would look good in a shadow box frame, so I'm just going to use that piece of wood that I'm pulling the apples off of right now. And I'm using the heat tool to loosen them up. They're actually styrofoam. At first I thought they were candles. Anyway, I'm going to sand it down and kind of make that little piece of wood look better. And then I'm going to paint it with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, give it a nice coat. And then I'm going to measure all the sides and find the center of the board. And there it is, right there. And then I took some skewer sticks and I made this little hexagon so that I could trace it out for this design. I'm going to trace it twice, and one will overlap with the other one at an angle. And then I've got this gold kind of chalk pen from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to go over all of the lines, and it's going to look so pretty, kind of like a little bit of an abstract design, if you will. I'm going to put a clear glaze coat over the top of that. Then I'm going to take this piece of craft paper. I'm going to fold it in half, and that way I can draw some antlers on it, like deer's antlers, and have the seam right there so that when I cut them out, I end up with two. And that's what I want to do. Instead of trying to make them even somehow, which I probably could never do, this is the best trick for trying to make two things the exact same size. And look at that, it's like magic. Anyway, I'm going to take that ribbon and I'm just going to glue it with the Beacon Fabric Tack glue. I'm going to put two pieces on each side there to cover them up. And once they're glued on, I will just turn it over and you'll see the craft paper on the back, and I can cut the shape of the antlers out. And then I'll have two beautiful antlers to place on my piece of art. And look at this. Isn't this going to look so pretty? I did see something like this on Pinterest and I thought, I'm going to try it. I mean, I'm just eyeballing it, obviously. So I didn't do any printables or anything. I decided to literally create it right on that little piece of wood. So I'm just gluing all of that to the canvas. That's not a canvas, it's a piece of wood. But now that it's artwork, I'm calling it a canvas. I have these dowels. So I got at Hobby Lobby. They're square. And I cut them to the sides of this wood board, and then I'm going to take my miter shears from Amazon and I'm going to set it to a 45-degree angle, and I'm just going to cut off the ends, and that way I will have kind of beveled ends and they will fit together in each of the corners. So I'll do that to all of the ends of the 4 dowels, and it is so pretty, you guys. I love it. And of course it's plaid. I just thought it was a really festive piece and that would be really fun to do. the one ribbon that was a little more. It cost $3 and I got it at Dollar General, but I gotta tell you, it's more than twice as wide, probably 3 times as wide as the other ribbons. So nice. And of course it has, guess what? A red truck on it. So I'm also going to use some bells, and I'm using this faux leather that I was sent by burlapfabric.com. And what I'm going to do is take the piece that I cut to match, just a little bigger than the size of the ribbon, and I'm going to use my Beacon fabric tack glue, and I'm just going to create a seam. I didn't want to get out my sewing machine, and I would have had to use a thicker needle for this, because it's thicker than regular like fabric. So I just decided I would do the glue, use the little clamps, and then use a little iron with a cloth over it just to hold it down. And it worked fine. So now I'm going to take a little dowel, round one, and I'm just going to wrap this golden white baker's twine around it on one end, and then pull up the length I want for the hanger, and then bring it down to the other end and glue that around, just kind of twirling it around. And I only glue it when I first put it on, and then when I stop at the end. Super easy to do, and it makes a nice little hanger. And I didn't want the wood to be in there because it would be more slippery moving around, so by putting the twine around it, it'll hold it a little bit better in place when you see what I'm going to do to attach it. So I'm trimming off the ends there, and then I'm going to make another seam right at the top. Once that seam is dry, I'm going to take that hanger that I made, and I'm going to set it right there on the top. First, I'm going to make sure that the 2 edges there are glued down on the ribbon so that when I fold it over, I don't have to get inside there again. So there you go. See how I'm laying it right there? I'm going to fold that over, and I'm going to use a combination of hot glue and then add a little bit of E6000 to each end to make sure it will stay, because it'll be hanging on that side. So I just want to make sure it doesn't come apart. But that way it's in there nice and secure. I hope that made sense. Now I'm just going to do a quick seam on the other end, but since there's no weight on that one, I'm just going to use some hot glue for that one little part. Then I'm going to hot glue the rest of the ribbon all the way on both sides to the faux leather. And look at that, isn't it adorable? So the way I'm going to add the bells is I'm going to take this little embroidery type needle, and I'm going to put the baker's twine right through it. Then I'm going to take the other end, I'm going to put it through the little loop backside of the bell, and then I'll take that end and I'm going to put it back on the needle and put it through the hole that I just used that little pokey tool to create. So basically going to put it through twice, each end of the twine, pull it all the way through, tie it off in a triple knot, and then trim it. And I'm going to do that to all 5 of the bells. And this is the prettiest little door hanging sleigh bell thing I've ever seen. I really love it. You have to tell me what you think. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this. I'm sure somebody has. I just haven't seen it, but I'm so excited about it. You'll have to let me know what you think, and would you try it? So fun. It's going to basically be like a Christmas ribbon boho-ish kind of a wreath. I'm going to use the round hoops from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to use the smaller one, and these are all different ribbons except one is from, all of them are from the Dollar Tree. The one I'm using right now I had on hand. So I just cut them out to what I thought would be the right length based on my hoop. That's totally up to you. And I'm doing like a lark's knot to attach them. So watch, I'm going to put the ends together. I'm going to put the loop right under and then pull the rest through and then pull it forward. And I did that with all the ribbons. It kind of made it symmetrical. Whatever I had on one side, I put on the other. And now I'm going to cut them at an angle, so a weight from the center one going up to the left and up to the right. And that way the center ribbon will have like a little point on it. And I did just, reds and greens and some gold. And then I've got this pick. I think it was from Hobby Lobby last year on clearance or sale, whatever. Just going to cut off some little pieces. So I've got these 2 little kind of, I guess they're pine type pieces. And I'm going to hot glue them. And then I'm also going to wrap a little piece of baker's twine around them, because I feel like when you attach it to the metal, it doesn't always stay. Then I've got these beautiful frosted leaves. So I'm going to put one on each side. And then I've got this gorgeous flower that has like a little bit of snow on it, but it just wouldn't lay right. So I had to string it with the baker's twine, glue it, and then tie it around. And that really made all the difference in getting it to stay. That's the hard part about using metal rings. That just the glue doesn't always stick. You need something for it to hold on to. So I'm just going to tie a really good knot, and then I will make a little hanger out of it as well, and that way it'll be able to hang up. And then I've got these little berry picks. I'm going to put 2 of them in the center of the flower just to give it some more color, and I just thought that was so beautiful. And that is all there is to this one. It's so easy. You could use any ribbons you want. You could do it for Christmas, any time of the year. I just think that the possibilities are endless with this one. So I hope you'll try it. It's super easy, and I hope you liked it. Look at all these gift bags. I've got this like kind of a banner looking thing that I got at the thrift store for like $3 or $4. Anyway, I'm gonna take a piece and cut off the top so I have like a little Christmas tree. And then I'm gonna draw another Christmas tree on the bottom piece and make a medium-sized one. So I'm gonna end up with one of the full-size ones, this little medium-sized one, and then that small one. So now I've got 3 Christmas trees. I'm gonna cut my gift bags into strips and then just use a glue stick and start assembling them. And I'll make them all different orders for the different patterns that I have. But they all go together because they all have, you know, kind of a color scheme that matches. But I did add the little white striped one too because I just thought that was really pretty, brighten it up a bit. I'm going to do this to all 3 of the trees, and like I said, all different patterns. And then I'm going to trim off the sides, and then I will use a nail file to kind of sand down around the edges just to clean them up. This is so fun and easy to do. I definitely think you could do this one with your grandkids or kids if you wanted to, and I think they would enjoy it. Or you could just do it yourself and relax and, you know, have some good me time. I'm going to use my walnut furniture repair marker and go around the edges. I just think it looks more finished if I do that. Then I'll use my truffle Waverly chalk paint and paint the back. You don't have to, but you know me, I like to finish my backs. I'm going to put a coat of Mod Podge over the top of all 3 of them. I've got this kind of shadow box. You might have seen it in a previous video where I didn't end up using it. And I took a piece of cardboard I had on hand. I save everything. Then I've got a piece of scrapbook paper that I got, I believe, from Hobby Lobby. It's so beautiful. Just says Merry Christmas all across it. And then I've got these little tumbling tower blocks. The ones that are already painted were from a plant stand I made that dropped on the ground and broke, but I salvaged them, and now they look like little tree trunks, which I think is just perfect. And then I used some regular ones that I just had to create different heights on the back of each tree. That way they won't all just sit kind of flat on that cardboard with the scrapbook paper. So I'm hot gluing the pieces, and then I will turn them over and attach them directly to my cardboard, which is like the backing now. So first I'll put in the large one, and then I'll put one of the smaller ones on either side. And like I said, there are different heights because of how I put the blocks. And I really love that look. It gives it, you know, that 3-dimensional look. I ended up having to cut some more pieces of the scrapbook paper. I think I accidentally trimmed it too small to put back on the backing of that shadow box. So no big deal, you'll see me do that. And then I'm wrapping some twine around my fingers, like 2 or 3 fingers, and then just tying a piece in the center, and I'm gonna use that for the middle bow. And then I'll just do 2 little small like shoestring bows for the other ones. So now I'm going to place it on the back, and I'm just gonna use hot glue to attach it, and that's it. This one turned out beautiful. Let me know what you think. I love this gift bag. I used this one a couple years ago for a project, but I had another one. So I am going to use that. And then this piece I found at Goodwill, I think it was, what, $4. Now these lights, I end up using fairy lights instead because they worked better. I've got this tool from Amazon, and people have asked me how it works. So you see that end there, you stick it under the staple and pry it upward, and that's it. It doesn't take much muscle either. It's so easy. So that's how it works. Anyway, I'm going to trace out the shape of the sign or the wood piece over my gift bag and cut that out. And then once that's done, I'm going to use some Aleene's tacky glue. I'm going to show you guys different ways that I stick things between glue stick, Mod Podge, tacky glue, and hot glue. So I'm just going to brush it on so it's not all thick and, you know, bubbly. And then I'm going to start at the bottom and place it down and rub it over. Now, my brayer was just out of reach, and I know I was kind of being lazy and I didn't get up to get it, but it worked out. This is thick, you know, gift bag stock. I'm going to take my file and go around the edges like I always do. And then I'm going to take this X-Acto knife because there's, those slats in the wood that make it look like planks. So I'm going to use it to cut them out. If you are enjoying this video, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. And there you go. So now it looks like it's pieces. I'm going to use my antique wax from Waverly, and I'm going to distress inside each of those planks. And then I'm just going to distress very lightly all around the whole piece. I want it to look old and worn. And antique wax is so good for that. And I love how it works. And I'm basically dry brushing. Put a little bit on the brush, wipe most of it off, and then drag it across the surfaces that you want to do. And then look at that. It came out so good. I'm going to take a pencil and mark all the places I want the lights to show up. So basically I'm going to do it on top of every tree and on the headlights. And I'm going to take my drill and simply drill a hole in each one. And off camera, I forgot to film this, I placed the fairy lights on the back and pushed them through the holes. And that worked perfectly. And then I'm going to Mod Podge over the rest of the front. And I'm going to hot glue the battery pack onto the back so that I can access it and turn the lights off and on and change the batteries as needed. Then I'm going to use a clear tape, and I'm just going to cover up the pieces of the fairy light so they don't accidentally pop out of the holes. Got this plank from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut it to the size that I need using my little miter box. And I'm going to sand it down. Then I'm going to use some water and antique wax to make like a stain. I just used my mister to spray it on. And then I will rub off the excess. What I did also is I took a little rubber placemat and I cut it out to put it on the bottom so it has a nice kind of grippy surface. And then I'm going to mark where I need to put it. And I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue to glue the wood piece right on top of the stand. And that way it will stay there very well. I didn't want to take any chances using only hot glue. That's it. Let me know what you think. Bag is a little more kind of glam looking, but I just love the blue. So what I'm going to do is take these 2 stars that I got at Dollar Tree and the Family Dollar store, and I cut strips of the 2 different patterns on the bag. So the stripes and then the kind of houndstooth looking pattern. And I'm going to do the 1 star with the slats. I'm going to do Mod Podge and then lay down the striped gift bag paper. And then on the other star, I'll do the houndstooth. And I'm just going to do like I've been doing before, just with this time with Mod Podge, just attach them. And then I'll use my little nail file to sand downward around the edges to have, nice looking fresh stars. There they are before I sanded them. And it's just easier to get into all those small areas with a nail file. You can use sandpaper too. It doesn't matter. I just prefer the nail file. Plus you can get them at Dollar Tree. I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint to paint all the edges and the backs. I just want them finished off, and I think the white goes with the gift bag. If you haven't already subscribed and you enjoy my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so that you'll get notified every time I post a new video. Thanks! Now that they're done, I'm going to put the smaller star on top of the larger one and then turn it over, and where they touch, there's only 3 points where they touch. The bottom 2 points and the top point. I'm going to put some hot glue in there and attach them. It's just so cute. This one is so easy. I just happened to have these 2 stars in my stash, and I think it just worked out. They didn't even come together, but I think they fit very nicely together. Once they're glued together, I was looking at it and I felt like it needed just something a little more. So I found this snowflake ornament from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut off the little hanger and I'm just going to hot glue it right in the center. It's kind of clear, frosty looking, and that's it. I think it turned out beautiful. You could put this on a tree, you could hang it somewhere else, you could partner it up over a tag. I think this is just so cute and pretty, and I love the blue as a nice accent color. Be sure to let me know what you think of this one. Love this candy cane lane bag. Isn't it pretty? I'm going to actually use both sides of this for 2 different projects. So for this one, I'm going to use that entire big candy cane bouquet. And then I've got these risers from Target Dollar Spot that were $5 for 2. I'm only going to use 1. I've got this lipstick red acrylic paint that I got at Walmart. And I'm going to paint the whole bottom as you see here and then put my Arteza paint marker around the edges. It's just easier. I'm going to fussy cut out the little bouquet of the candy canes, and then I'm going to paint the top of this with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. And once I have that on there, I'm going to lay down some Mod Podge, and then I'm going to Mod Podge this cutout that I have onto the top. It's so pretty. It's so simple. It's just very clean and elegant looking. And I'm going to put that piece on top and kind of press down, make sure it's, you know, sitting as flat as it can. And then I will take the Mod Podge and go right over the top and really push down as I apply it to make sure that the little edges stay down. And if it pops up, I tuck a little more Mod Podge underneath and then push down again. If you've Mod Podged before, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just have to really push. Besties, I hope you'll come see me on social media, say hi, and send me a picture if I inspired you to create anything. This was a very fast project. I really enjoyed making this one. I love it. You'll have to let me know what you think. What a cute little riser. And as promised, the other side of the bag I'm going to use for this one. So I've got this ornament from the Dollar Tree, and it's so cute. I didn't want to mess with the front. So I'm going to make it a two-sided ornament, and I'm going to put it over the top of the little bouquet of candy canes and trace the shape of the ornament around it. And then I will cut it out. I'm going to use my Aleene's tacky glue to attach it this time, and I'll just take a little foam brush and spread it around so that there's no lumps or anything and it's nice and flat. It's just kind of fun to show you all the different ways that you can attach paper, whether it's gift bags, scrapbook paper, whatever it is, you can use all these different ways. So now I'm just going to place that little cutout right on top of the ornament. And then I've got this little piece left over from a tin, like flat sheet from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to press it over to kind of get an outline of that little top of the ornament, and I'll cut it out. Just be super careful. It's very sharp. I'm going to use some hot glue to attach that right to the top, so that way it has its own little metal top piece just like the other side does. Then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and just trim off any excess around the top and around the sides. And I'm also going to use my nail file again to sand down around the edges. Now this time I didn't let it dry fast enough, so I scraped off a little too much, but you'll see that. I poked a hole on the top so I could hang it, put some Mod Podge over the top, and now I've got a cute little candy cane bow that I made, just a regular little shoestring bow. It's ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to trim off the edges. And then I'm going to put some little berries below the bow, and then I'm going to take a couple of leaves that I cut off a pick over the bow. I'm making it kind of 3D like what the picture is, but I'm adding a little life to it. I'm going to put some more berries. I just thought that would make it look really, really cute. And then I decided to dovetail the ends of my ribbon. And then I've got a teeny tiny little pine cone from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue that to the very center. It's so cute. And this was super easy. And you've literally got a two-sided ornament. You guys, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I love doing two-sided things. I like getting as much as I can out of whatever I'm doing. And this is the string that came with the gift bag, and I just put it in and tied a knot, and it is now the hanger. How easy is that? Be sure to take a screenshot of this so that you can properly prepare your pine cones for crafting. I love using free items to craft with, and so these pine cones were gathered by my husband, and this cardboard came with some packing stuff, and I just saved it. So I'm going to cut off the bottom, and then I'm going to roll it up and create a cone. Now you can do this with something a little thinner and it would probably be easier, so like poster board is probably a better choice, but I had this on hand, so I'm going to make it work. I'm just going to use a combination of hot glue and clear packing tape to get this thing stuck in a cone shape. Whatever it takes, using my little clamps from Dollar Tree, you name it. I'm going to make this work if it's the last thing I do. There's my cone. And now, this is the tedious part of this one. It's so worth it though. I'm gonna take clippers and I start clipping off pieces of the little pine cone, so the little petals, if you will. And yes, I'm going to glue each one on there individually. I know what you're thinking. You're like, are you crazy, Lisa? Yeah, a little bit. I think I am. But it is so beautiful. So you know what I did? I put on some videos or binge watched some shows, and I just did this, and I wasn't even noticing I was doing it after a while. I was just watching my shows. So it's a great thing to do in the background, you know, if you're trying to do something long like this. This is what the, I guess, what would you call that? The bones of the pine cone look like after I take off all of the little petals. And there it is, all finished. Now you do see some little gaps, you know, in there where you see the cardboard. So I'm going to use my burnt umber paint by Apple Barrel, and I'm going to touch up all those little spots. And then I've got this old ribbon spool, and I like to save them because I feel like I could use them for things. I'm going to paint the whole thing with that burnt umber, you know, top, bottom, middle, everything. And that's going to become our little tree stand. I also got this fabric at the Dollar Tree. It's so cute. It's like little presents. And I'm just going to cut out pieces, and I'm going to use my Beacon fabric tack glue and attach it to that very bottom of the spool. So it looks like there's little presents sitting under the tree. Now you could make your own little presents. I just decided this was super cute and a little bit easier, so that's what I did. Especially after putting all those petals on, you know what I mean? That took a long time. I'm sure you're picturing it right now and going, I don't know if I want to do that. Trust me, when you see it at the end, you might want to do it. So I just cut the pieces until I get the whole thing covered using my fabric tack glue. And then I'm going to use my scissors and just trim around the edge. It comes right off. It's super easy, and it's not moving around because that fabric tack glue does set fairly quickly. There it is, all done. And I'm going to take this rope, I'm going to hot glue it around the edge of that and the base of the little spool. And then I've got these cool little die cut stars from Dollar Tree and this gold and white baker's twine that I actually got at Target. I'm going to glue the little piece of baker's twine to the top and then wrap it around the tree like a garland. And then I'll hot glue it at the very bottom when I'm all done. I wanted to keep it minimalistic and just let the pine cone petals, you know, speak for themselves. But I also wanted to make sure that it looked good. I'm going to take the little star and I'm going to use my gold metallic paint by Folk Art, and I'm going to paint both sides. I feel like with the gold and white twine, the star needed to be gold as well. I'm going to hot glue that right to the top. This one is just so beautiful. I sure hope you guys like this one. Let me know what you think. This pine cone DIY, I'm going to take this small wreath form from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take the twine from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to wrap it around. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the curved side on the bottom, so it's like pushing, it looks like it's going in from the top. And then I'm going to go around that middle one as I come back around. That way I won't get rid of that little dip. I'm just going around the back of it so that it stays curved. Hopefully that made sense. I'm going to do that to the whole thing. There it is, and just hot glue as I go. And then I need to add some more twine on that piece of metal that makes the circle inside, because I'm going to be attaching the pine cones and I need it to have something more than metal to attach to. So once that's all attached, I've already flocked my pine cones for this. I just used some white paint and painted around it. Some of them I had already done and then didn't use them for previous projects last year. And now what I'm going to do is put some E6000, because I want to make sure this is going to stay. And then I'm also going to put a lot of hot glue all around it, hold it in place till it dries, and then I'm going to add some more hot glue just for security. And I'm going to do this all the way around. They're going to be standing up. This is a centerpiece / candle holder, and you could put whatever you want in the center. It could be a vase with, let's say, poinsettias, or I'm going to do a candle to show you later. But this is just going to be so pretty, and I'm going to make each one of those little pine cones like little trees. So aren't they cute? And I'm going to take some winter pics from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue them in between each of the pine cones, and then I'm going to take another set of them at the base. I'm going to go like horizontally and go all the way around, so that way it just looks finished and it's just so pretty. You could do this any way you want. When you see the candle in it, you're just going to be like, wow. Anyway, I just love this one so much, and it was really easy. Besties, if you are enjoying this video, I would ask that you hit the like button for me. It really tells YouTube to show my videos to more people, and then I can inspire more just like you. Thanks. And I'm I'm just hot gluing a single berry to the top of each tree. And then I'm going to go back in with an Arteza red paint marker and just make sure any of the little white parts from where I pulled them apart don't show. I love the way this turned out. I hope that you like it. Please let me know down in the comments. Take 20 pine cones, some fern and crimson chalk paint from Waverly, and then some white primer. And then I've got this little metal tin that I had used in a previous DIY. I'm going to use it again, and some skewer sticks. And I'm going to take my drill on the very smallest drill bit that I have, and I'm going to drill a hole into the bottom of each pine cone. Now, if you do this, be super careful. I wish I had a smaller drill bit, because what I want to do is glue a skewer into each of the bottom ones. So I end up using a ton of hot glue to make it stay. I'm going to do some of the pine cones with white, some in the crimson, and some in the fern, and we're going to create a pine cone like flower bouquet. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. So once the pine cones are all dried and painted, I'm gonna start gluing the skewer sticks into the holes. Now some of the holes went sideways and some didn't, but I promise you with enough hot glue, you can make this work. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna get the skewers in every single one of the pine cones. So I won't show you all of them. I'll just show you how I did this one so you kind of know. Now I'm going to leave the design that I had painted on this previously, and I'm going to leave the little foam inside to stick the skewers into. And I'm just going to start arranging them by color so they're not all the same next to each other. And I did a couple of them at shorter heights so that there was variety in it. You could honestly do this any way that you want. And then I've got this cute little reindeer or deer antler thing from Dollar Tree. I'm going to stick that in there too, just for fun. If these kind of DIYs are something you enjoy and you haven't subscribed yet, I would invite you to subscribe now by hitting that red subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so that YouTube will tell you whenever I upload a new video. I love the way this one turned out. Let me know what you think. Cone DIY is going to be so easy. All it takes is one pine cone, some ribbon, and I'm using berries, and a couple frosted leaves. And what I'm going to do is make a cute little bow. So I'm going to take the ribbon, and because it's one-sided, I'm just going to kind of roll it up about 5 times so that the loops are the same size, and I'm leaving some for a tail. And then I will cut off, after I do that, enough for the tail to match the same size as the first tail. This is like kind of a non-traditional little bow that I'm making. Once I cut off my second tail, I'm going to gather the bow pieces together and use a little chenille stem to tighten that and tie that around. And that way everything will be, held together while I want to put it on the pine cone. And by the way, we're making it a Christmas ornament out of this pine cone. Now I'm going to fluff the bow, and there's just the 4 little loops there. And then I decided to dovetail the ends of my tails. And I just think that looks so pretty. Now, I don't like the way it's laying for this kind of a piece, so I'm going to hot glue the bow kind of down towards the tail so that when I set it on the pine cone, it'll set the way I want it to. I just didn't want it like way up high. I wanted it a little more facing forward, if that makes sense. You can see what I'm doing right there. I'm going to take my gold metallic paint by Folk Art, and I'm going to paint, the little petals of the pine cone in the gold. I think that'll look really pretty with the ribbon and then with this white and gold baker's twine. So I'm going to take some just below the bottom of the pine cone, which we're going to use as the top for hanging the ornament. I'm going to wrap the twine around several times, and then I will hot glue it again, create the loop for my hanger, and then wrap it around the other side and hot glue it. So now I have a nice little hanger that's wide enough to get on the tree, and also will be hidden by the bow and everything, so where it's attached you won't even see that when it's all done. And you'll see that here in just a minute. I'm going to hot glue my bow right on what is now the top of the pine cone, and then I'm going to put hot glue in the middle and put my frosted leaves there, and they look so pretty. And And once that is attached, I'm going to take these berries, I'm going to cut them down to a size that I think is more in proportion with this ornament, and I'm going to hot glue them right in the center of the leaves. Then I'm going to take my Arteza red marker and just cover any of the little white spots on the berries from where I cut them apart. And I love how easy and beautiful this ornament is. You could do so many variations with the ribbons. Let me know what you think. Going to make another little ornament using this pine cone and also these two different baker's twine. One is green and white and one is gold and white. I'm going to hold the ribbons together so that when I wrap them around they are together. So I'll start by putting a little hot glue and starting it at the top, and then I will just start wrapping it around the pine cone. And I just think this looks so pretty because it gives a little bit of color to the flocked pine cone, and I just love the way it looks. You could do this with any colors you want. I think it's just so cute. Imagine making it rustic with some twine. That would be gorgeous too. Once I get to the end, I'm going to make a loop with the gold and white twine and hot glue it on one side, and then pull the loop up and around and hot glue it to the other side, and that will become my little hanger. And then I'll wrap some more of the gold and white around the pine cone just for a little added, flair. When I get to the bottom, I will just cut it off and hot glue it in place. This gorgeous gold kind of glittery pick. I'm going to cut two of the leaves off, and I'm going to put one at either side of the top of the ornament, and I'll use hot glue to attach it. And then I'm going to grab a really large kind of burgundy colored berry, and I'm going to put it right in the center. Now, I was thinking I was just adding, a little touch of color. Well, when I showed this one to my husband, he thought it looked like an angel. So let's go with that. It's an angel ornament, but I love it and it's super cute. Let me know what you think. Have these adorable window clings. One was from Dollar General and this one is from Dollar Tree, and on the back side it's got these kind of puffy stickers, which I'm going to use some of those too, and I'm going to make 4 Christmas ornaments using these clear plastic ornaments. I believe I got those in my Michael's bread box or whatever. Like, such a good deal. They were $5 for the box and tons of stuff was in there. So here's all the little pieces I've already cut out. And so for the first one, because this is round, an ornament, I need to cut this one into pieces because it's just really hard to make it lay perfectly flat. So by cutting into pieces, it really helped. The hardest part was lining up each piece because the curve kind of throws things off. But anyway, I made it work. I just got the back of the window clings a little bit wet and then, worked on them to get them onto the ornament. And I put one on each side. For the next ornament, I'm using these little Christmas trees, but I made a little slit where each of the little pieces of the tree come out on both sides, and that made it a little easier to lay it down on the rounded surface. So sometimes you just have to make little slits, sometimes you have to cut them into pieces, whatever works, right? I put one of these on each side as well. Here they are, all 4 ornaments. I didn't show you all of the ones I did, but because it's the same process. So I put the little window clings on there, and now I'm going to fill each ornament with something different. So for the Christmas tree ornament, I'm going to use these silver kind of glittery branches. I'll cut them into little tiny pieces and just put a bunch inside the Christmas tree ornament to give it a little more interest. And the little tops pop right off super easily. And I just thought that just added just an extra little cuteness to this one. For this one with the little gingerbread thing on it, I cut out these little frosted leaves. I believe those were from Hobby Lobby last year on clearance. So I just snipped little pieces and I stick those right inside this ornament. For the candy cane one, I have this beautiful candy cane ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I just cut it into little pieces and put a bunch of them inside there, and I thought that was adorable. And now for my peppermint ornament, I'm going to put this faux snow in there, and I just think that's so pretty. I'm going to take them all outside and spray them with a clear glaze. I love the way these turned out, so fast and easy, and I bet you could do these with grandkids or kids. I just think they were super fun. For this next window cling hack, I'm going to take the trees with the little fox and then another tree from this particular window cling set. And then I've got this metal plaque, that kind of corrugated metal, and I'm going to make the cutest little rustic wall hanging. So these are the pieces that I cut out, and I'm going to take my Mod Podge, and I'm also going to use some burnt umber paint by Apple Barrel and a spray glue that I think I got at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to spray the back of the window clings, and I'm just going to set them where I want on the metal plaque and just kind of press in those little grooves. And then I'm going to add the second one just a little bit lower just to give it a little dimension. And I'm going to dry it off with my heat tool. I'm going to take some matte Mod Podge and I'm going to go over the top of the trees and make sure they are adhered. Now I'm going to take my burnt umber paint and I'm going to distress the whole piece. So I'm basically going to dry brush. I'm going to put some on my brush, wipe most of it off, and then just drag it across. And I keep going over it till I get the desired look. It kind of gives it almost like a worn rust look. And I really love the way it turned out. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to take this frosted pick from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to clip 2 pieces off, and I'm going to hot glue one to each side, and that'll cover those holes on the bottom, and it'll add a little more interest to the piece. Then I'm going to add some little red berries from another pick that I cut off right to the center, and I think that just looks so pretty and festive. Then I'm going to take this rope that has these little like shoelace pieces on the end, and I'm just going to stick them through, and then I will hot glue the back down, and that's it. This was such an easy project. You could make this so quickly. Honestly, it took no time at all. And of course, my husband loves it because it's super rustic, and he always loves the very rustic DIYs that I do. I hope you guys like it too. Let me know. For this window cling hack, I'm using this Farm Fresh Christmas trees window cling that was part of another set, and I'm using that little crate from Dollar Tree, plaster color paint by Waverly, and my burnt umber by Apple Barrel. I'm going to sand down the entire crate around the outside and bottom, and then I'm going to paint the 2 planked looking sides with the plaster color chalk paint. Then I'm going to take my burnt umber and I'm going to take my mister and I'm going to spray a little water on the places where I'm going to paint with the burnt umber, just so I can create a faux stain, and then it won't go on quite so heavy, and then I will wipe off the excess. And I'm going to do that on both sides and the bottom, and partially inside the part you will see, and you'll see that in just a second here. I also took what was left on my brush and I dry brushed across the 2 sides that had the plaster, just to give it a distressed look. Now I'm going to lay down some Mod Podge on one of the plank sides, and then I'm going to take my window cling and I'm going to place it right on top. Once I have that position where I want it, I'm going to take my brayer and just roll it across to make sure that it is adhered really well to the surface. I'm going to add one more coat of Mod Podge over the top just to kind of seal the whole thing in. And then I'll dry that with my heat tool. I'm going to take a nail file and just in a downward motion go on the 2 sides where a little bit of the window cling hung over, and that gives me a nice clean edge. I put some foam inside, and then I've got these really cute little bottle brush Christmas trees and this faux snow. And what I'm going to do is use a spray adhesive and spray inside, onto the foam there. And I'm going to just start pouring in my faux snow until I get as much in there as I need to make this look nice and full. I'm going to take my trees and I'm going to hot glue on the bottom and then make a little space so it's not right on the snow, but it's more on the foam, or the part that's glued to the foam. And then I put the green flocked one in the middle and then the 2 white flocked ones on either side. This is such a super easy project, and it is adorable. I did not put anything on the trees since it said it was like a Christmas tree farm, so they shouldn't be decorated yet, but I absolutely love this one. You'll have to let me know what you think down in the comments. It was super easy to make. For this window cling hack, I'm going to use those little bells that you see right there and some of the snowflakes and this glass jar. I'm going to take some Mod Podge and paint it all inside the jar because I'm going to add some of the faux snow. Now that my Mod Podge is generously applied to the inside, I'm going to pour in the faux snow, and then I'm going to shake it up, roll it around, and try to get the whole thing covered on the inside as much as possible. Then I'm going to apply some Mod Podge to the back of my window clings, and I'm going to add each one to the side of the jar. And I did not need to make slits in these because the jar is curved but not rounded, so it just lays on very nicely. I wasn't too fond of that kind of light green background, so I decided to take some white paint and just very gently pounce it on there, you know, like a dabbing motion. And I got a little too much on, I wiped some off, but then I fixed that. I just feel like it added so much to this little jar to have that kind of muted white. It looks like there's snow on the outside and on the inside. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Once I do that to all of them, I decided to cut up these frosted pics and make them a length that they would look really pretty sitting inside of the jar. And then I've also got these other little branches that look like they have icicles on them or ice on them, and I'm going to add some of those in the middle as well. And I think that just looks so pretty. It's got that snow feel all the way around. Next, I'm going to take this really pretty ribbon that I've had in my stash forever, and I'm just going to wrap it around where the jar rivets are, and then this little bell garland I'm going to add as well. And I think that just really makes this look beautiful, and it's two-sided, and I love it. And I hope you do too. Let me know what you think of this one. For this window clean hack, I'm going to use these little candy canes and this little succulent frame thing from Dollar Tree, some Crimson Waverly chalk paint, and my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. Now I have a lot of candy cane decor from last year when I made some. I'll link that video below. I thought this would look really nice because I've got them all on a tiered tray. I'm going to pull out that little centerpiece. Of course, the succulent came right off, and then I used my heat tool and my little spatula to remove that hot glue that was down there. Next, I'm going to take my crimson chalk paint and I'm going to paint around the top edge and then down on the inside edge. Now that the front and the inside is done, I'm going to take that white chalk paint. I'm going to paint the flat center of the inside and all the way around the edges and the back. There it is, all done. And then I've got my little window cling. I'm going to put some Mod Podge down first. And then I will put the window cling right in the center. Slightly larger than the little inside of the box, so I'll make sure the top is flush with the edge, and then I will trim off the excess on the bottom with my X-Acto knife. Once I have that trimmed, I'm going to put some more Mod Podge right over the top. This is such an easy project, and it's going to look so cute in my little candy cane tiered tray. I'm going to add some Mod Podge to all of the rest of the piece except for the back, just to make sure that it's nice and sealed. Once that dries, I'm going to take this red and white baker's twine and I'm just going to make a teeny little shoestring bow. I'm going to hot glue it just to the center of that top portion, and then I'll trim the edges. I just thought it needed one little extra thing, and it matches the candy cane, and I think it's super, super cute. I hope you guys like this one. It was so fast and easy. Honestly, you could do this in no time at all. And I just love that little candy cane window cling. It's adorable. You'll have to let me know what you think of this one in the comments. Jump right into our project with 16 of these hangers. I'm going to take sets of 2 and I'm going to put them like long side to long side and make sure that the little handles are pointing the same direction on each one. I'm going to take my zip ties and I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom, and that's going to hold them very securely. I'll repeat this for all of them. Here we are down on the floor and I could not get this on my desk because it is so big now. These are each just pieces of 2, so let me carefully pull one apart. and you will see. Here is the combination of two together. They're put together right here and right here with the zip tie. And all I've done is lay them down so that the left one right here overlaps with the right one next to it. And then what I'm going to do is just position these so that these two pieces are next to each other, and these two, the top of the hanger fits within the points of the star next to it. So I've done that all the way around. Now we're going to take the task of connecting them all. I buy my zip ties at the hardware store because it's such a good deal. You get so many in one package, and then they're all different colors as well. So I would like to say, if you're someone who can't get on the floor, I can get on the floor. Getting up is a whole other story. That should be interesting. But if, let's say, mobility wise, that's just not going to work for you to get on the floor. I would say clear off your kitchen table and do it on there, or any other large surface that you might have. My craft table just is not big enough for this. So we're going to start right here. And I'm not going to tighten them all the way yet. I'm going to get them pretty close. And then I'm going to leave it so I can go around and make some adjustments as we go. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get confused with zip ties. If you look at this little opening right here, one side has two places that it looks like they could go in, and one side only has one. That's the side you want to put it on, the side that only has one. And you'll know because it'll make that noise, the little zippy noise. I'm just going to go ahead and do this for all of them. We'll come right back when they're all in. All right, so it makes sense to me, if you can see right here. So down towards the bottom of every point, there are these little top of the hangers, and it meets the bottom of the hangers. And if I do this at every single one of these points, I feel like that's going to hold this very stable. So let's give that a try. So look at that. Now it is all one piece. Great. So now I can take my little wire cutters and I'll be able to go around. And just so you know, one side is like deep and it's further apart right here, and the other side is flat and they come together, and that's where the cut happens. So I was trying to make that part be downward where I want it to be cut, because then I don't end up with a little bit of a ledge still that could really be sharp and scratch you. All right, so I just picked 4 spots, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the center. I need to come up with a plan for all of these little ends. Just because I'm so frugal, I'm like trying to figure out what could I make with these. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments, because I've got tons of these, and I know it's just trash, but what if it was, you know, something we could maybe make snowflakes out of them? I don't know, just a thought. We can turn it over, and now we can just go around and make sure that all of those wide parts of the zip ties are in the back. So I have turned all of the little pieces of the zip ties to the back that are bulky. And then I've got these little snowflakes from the Dollar Tree. They're actually ornaments. They came 10 in a pack. And then I'm going to put something else here that's very decorative, and I think that's what I'm going to do besides lights. So this is too big for me to bring my glue gun down here. I don't want to get any glue on my rug. So I'm going to do the gluing off camera. All I'm going to do is take off the little hanger. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on it, and I'm just going to find the best spot for it to stay. Now back to my craft table. I've got this cute little sign on a stick from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some faux snow and these 3 silver snowflake ornaments with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. I'm going to use my staple remover from Amazon and just pull out those staples so I can take off the jute cord. And then I'm going to take off the stickers, and I'm going to heat up the little stick on the back and just loosen that glue. And with my spatula, I'm just going to take it off. I'll sand it all down off camera, and then I'm going to cover both sides and the edges with the white paint. I'm going to lay down some Mod Podge, and I'm just going to apply the faux snow all over the front of it. I think that looks beautiful. Now I'm going to hot glue the 3 ornaments on, just kind of in a little pattern. And then I've also got this cute little like silver glittery floral piece from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take off the little pincher thing, cut down the stem, and I'm going to hot glue it right to the center. I'm going to use some chenille stems or pipe cleaners. I'm going to bend them so there's a flat portion and then 2 sides sticking up. And then I'll put some felt over the top of that just to secure them even further. I've added the little stars onto those intersections where the top of the hangers all meet. I'm going to attach the other piece that you saw me create, which is this one. And then I put those pieces on the back. Per my really good friend Nadia from DIY. With Nadia, her suggestion, this is how she does things for the center of her wreaths, and this is a similar kind of a concept. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it on here and put those pipe cleaners through and then twist them in the back, and that'll hold this very secure. And I'll show you when it's all on there and I get the lights on. This turned out absolutely gorgeous. I can't believe how beautiful it is. I did wrap some fairy lights all the way around all the parts. It took about 5 different strings of fairy lights. I got those on Amazon, and I absolutely love how this turned out. Now, this project took quite a while to do, but look at the end result. I think it's so worth it. I just can't believe this was made out of plastic hangers. Seriously, it's amazing. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Next dollar hanger hack, we're going to use 12 hangers and we're going to make an angel. So here are my hangers. I've got some zip ties, and then I've got a wood bamboo round from the Dollar Tree. The first thing I'm going to do is take 2 of the hangers, and I'm going to cross them at the bottom corner and make sure that the handles are facing opposite directions. Then I'm going to overlap that very pointed area at the bottom and make sure that it's just sitting nice and flush. And then I'm going to put a zip tie right towards the bottom to make sure that part stays in place. Then I'm going to put a dab of hot glue at the top just so that doesn't move while I'm trying to work. And I'm going to snip off the end of my zip tie. I'm going to make 2 of those exactly the same. I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to poke some holes in that one corner of each of those, that intersection. It almost looks like a butterfly, doesn't it? These are the angel wings. So I'm going to make a hole on each one, and you can put it through both sides if it's not, coming through real clear. I just poked it a few times until I got a nice hole. Then I'm going to take some white twine and I'm just going to string it through, and I'm going to tie these pieces together. I could have made larger holes and used zip ties. I just decided to use the white twine. I'm going to tie that together and knot it off. Now we'll work on the body of the angel. I'm going to take 2 hangers and lay them like a V kind of. You can see what I'm doing where the ends are together, and then I just tucked the 2 hangers underneath each other, and I'm going to make 2 more holes on each one of those ends, and I'm going to tie that piece together with the white twine. Then I'm going to take a zip tie and I'm going to connect it right in that little section where it kind of indents, because I want to make sure this is going to stay nice and firm. And then I'm going to take a 3rd hanger and I'm just going to overlap the 2 ends with a slight bend. If you look at it from the side, kind of just slightly angles. I'm going to make the holes, and I'm going to string in the twine and tie that together as well. I'm going to end up making 2 pieces just like this with the 3 hangers. Now I'm going to take each one and I'm going to put them in reverse of each other so that there's an opening in the center. I'm going to make a hole on the bottom ones of each to connect them and put the string through it. And then I'm going to take my hangers at the top where they meet and just kind of crisscross them over. Then I'm going to make some holes at the very top of all this. And I'm going to stick the hot glue gun back through because I want to see how I can line them up. So I want to push it all the way through so it touches the hanger underneath. And that way I can then go and put my holes in exactly the right place. I hope that makes sense. You could do that with a pen or a pencil as well. So there we are. I've got that top piece connected very nicely. So now you can see that's like the neck. It's going up to the head. And I'm going to take my little bamboo ring and I'm going to paint it with the Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. And once that dries, I'm going to lay this all on the floor again. You can see the wings on the top and then the body of the angel down below. And I'm going to zip tie those 2 top pieces to the wings, as you can see, where the little point is. And then I'm going to drill some holes where the head goes. And I'm going to use the zip tie. I'm going to make the holes bigger. That's why I'm using a drill, so that I can attach the little hoop as the head. And there it is. Oh my gosh, you guys, I put the lights on it and I think it's gorgeous. It is just so beautiful. I used quite a few lights. I ordered them on Amazon. They come in like 6 in each pack, very reasonably priced for how many little lights you get. And I love the fairy light look so much. You have to tell me if you like this one and if you would be willing to do this. Again, not as long as the star took to make, but still a good amount of time. For this dollar hanger hack, it only takes 2 hangers, and this is the easiest and quickest of all of them. I'm going to take 2 hangers. I've got these googly eyes from the Dollar Tree and these little wood scraps I had. I've got some ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and these little headbands came in a Michael's grab box, so I just thought I'd use them. I'm going to take my 2 hangers back to back, if you will, with the hangers the same direction pointing up, and then I'm going to angle it across so you see that little section at the top looks like almost like a heart, and I'll overlap the bottom. I'm going to put a zip tie right in between that little heart intersection that I just mentioned. I'm going to keep it loose at first. Then I'm going to add another one just below where one of the hangers is, and then I add one again on the other side. I end up taking that one out because I don't really need an extra one. It just kind of bulks it up. And then I end up putting one at the very bottom, and that's when I realized I didn't really need both sides. I'm going to tighten them so that I'll be able to trim my little zip ties. And this is when I realized I do need one at the bottom because it wants to pull apart there. So I'm just going to get one right down there at the bottom. So there you go. And now it's super secure. I'm going to pull on the side so you can see just how good it's holding. And there are the zip ties I ended up using. I'm going to take one of the bulbs. I'm going to take a shiny one, and I'm going to pull off that little cap at the top. I had to use my snippers to do it, but once I've got it, I'm going to take my snippers and just get rid of that piece that sticks out, that the hanging part was attached to, and then I'll just make sure I can get it as flat as I can. I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue, and I'm going to attach it right at the bottom, and this is going to be my little reindeer's nose. I don't know if I told you that, but this is Rudolph, and that's going to hold that very securely there. I'm going to take my 2 little oval wood pieces that are scrapped. I'm just putting that there so I have something to attach the eyes to. You could use anything. I just happen to have these in my stash. And I'll put some E6000 and hot glue on those as well. And then I'm going to take my little googly eyes, and because they're bloodshot, I think they're probably for Halloween or something, I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and I'm going to paint over all that bloodshot. And Rudolph doesn't have blue eyes that I know of, so I'm going to use my burnt umber paint by Apple Barrel, and I'm just going to cover the center of his eyes. I'm going to use my Noir furniture marker from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to do an outline around. It's basically black. You could use any marker you want. I didn't trust myself to be steady with a paintbrush. On the back side of these little eyes, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut out a hole so that it gives me a little flat surface to attach them. I'm going to go ahead and use the E6000 and the hot glue combination again, and I'm just going to put those right down on that wood, which I also painted white, by the way, and that's going to hold those eyeballs very securely. Now I'm just going to pull off that little felt greenery right off those headbands. It came off super easy, and I'm going to cut off the little bows. And I thought these were just so cute. They already had little snowballs on them and everything. So I'm going to put 2 on each side. I'm just going to hot glue them down and just make them look the way I think looks really cute. Next, I'm going to take that white paint. I'm just going to accent the eyes a little bit. I'm going to make a little curve on each side and then kind of a dot at the bottom. It just gives the eyes kind of like a glistening effect. Next, I'm going to take my fairy lights from Amazon, and I'm just going to unravel them. They already come with a battery in, which I love, and I'm just going to hot glue it on the back. I'm going to make sure that it's glued in a secure spot and that the screws are facing up so I can change the battery when I need to, and then I have access to the on and off switch. I wrapped it in fairy lights, and that's it. This one is adorable. I hope you would consider making this one because it was so easy. And you're going to have to let me know what you think down in the comments. I am in love with all of them, and I hope that you guys like them too. Please let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite and if you would like to recreate any of them. If you need to, you can always slow down the video if you're trying to remember a part. Got this little house from the Dollar Tree, hazelnut chalk paint, and my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. And I've got a window cling I'm going to use from either Dollar Tree or Dollar General, I can't remember. I'm going to paint the inside of the house with the white, then I'm going to do the hazelnut all around the edges and the inside sides. I've got this cute piece of scrapbook paper. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby last year, and I'm just going to trace the shape of the house on it. I'm going to cut it out a little smaller so it fits on the inside. Then I added a little more of the paint to cover any mistakes I made in cutting. I'm going to add my Mod Podge, and I'm going to put down that little piece of paper right in the center. I'm going to lay some more Mod Podge down, and I'm going to put my window cling right in the center. And it's a little bigger than the inside of the house, so I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and cut off the edges. But I'll first use my brayer to make sure that it lays flat. And I got that at Amazon. You can find that in my Amazon store if you are needing one. I'm going to put down a last layer of Mod Podge, lots of Mod Podge, and cover the top of this one just so it's, really adhered. Now for the fun part, I'm going to use my glue gun and I'm just going to create snow and icing all around this little house. Now you could use white hot glue for this. I didn't have any, and honestly I didn't have any time to run out and get some. So I just used my glue gun with regular glue, and then I'm going to go around with my white chalk paint, and I'm just going to use a small art brush and I'm going to paint over all the little glue lines that I made, and you'll see that coming up here in just a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to make a window on either side with little crossbars in it, and just have fun. You could do this any way you want, be as creative or as little as you want. And then I've got a mop head here from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to pull out one strand, and I'm just going to line the inside of that house, just around the edges with some hot glue. And I think that's going to look really cute and just kind of make the little gingerbread man pop. And now I'm just going to do that painting on the glue like I mentioned before. And I just put that little squiggly on his forehead just for fun. And then I added this little peppermint candy. You'll see me make that here in just a minute. I added that right to the top left side, and this one is done. And I think he's adorable and so easy. You will have to let me know what you think of this one down in the comments. This gingerbread DIY, I'm going to use my hazelnut chalk paint again. It's the perfect color for gingerbread. And I did both sides. I didn't bother doing the little buttons because I'm going to paint them another color. And I'm going to put the little stripes on his arms and his legs in white. And then I'm going to do his bow tie in a red Arteza paint marker, and then the green paint on the buttons. And then I cut up a little piece of a window cling and put a peppermint in the center of his bow tie. Then I'm going to take some black chalk paint that I got at the Dollar Tree and 3 buttons that I have to do his eyes and his nose, and they weren't all the same color, so I made them all the same with the black. I'm going to hot glue them right to his face. Now I've got these tags from the Dollar Tree and some more scrapbook paper, some really pretty scrapbook paper. I'm pretty sure I got that at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to trace the tags on there and kind of piece it together with a glue stick. I'm going to attach it to the back side of that side, and then I'm going to go around with a sanding block and get all the edges nice and smooth and flush. I'm going to sand in a downward motion. I also added some more of the hot glue to the little gingerbread man to give him some squigglies and a smile. I'm going to hot glue him directly on to that tag on the red scrapbook paper that I have. Then I'm going to take some stickers from the Dollar Tree, and I went a little sticker crazy. You don't have to go so crazy like I did. I'm going to add some candy canes and some stars and this little joy word. And then I'm going to go to the window cling one, and I'm going to Mod Podge down a couple of those stars. I don't know, I probably went a little overboard, but it was kind of fun. I was just enjoying it. And then I'm just going to cover that whole thing with Mod Podge. Then I'm going to take my other tag that I covered with scrapbook paper, and I'm going to kind of spread them apart a little bit at an angle, and I'm going to hot glue them together. And I made sure to poke through the holes as I went so that I could still access them. I'm going to reinforce that hot glue on the back as well, just to make sure that this is not going anywhere. I always like to finish the back of my crafts, so I'm going to take some craft paper and I'm just going to hot glue it on and then trim it away. I've got two different kinds of baker's twine. One's green and white and one's gold and white, and I did about 4 strands and made a shoestring bow. And I'm just going to hot glue that to cover one of the holes that I'm not going to be using on one of the tags. And that's it. This one is done, and I think it's so adorable. I hope you guys like this one as much as I do. Take these adorable little wood cutouts from Target Dollar Spot, a gingerbread man and a peppermint candy, and these beads that I have, and I'm going to make a little beaded garland. I'm going to make some of the beads hazelnut, some of the beads green, some white, some will look like candy sprinkles on them, and some are going to be this buffalo check red and black that I bought on Amazon. First I painted the peppermint in the white, and then I'm going to use a red Arteza marker and make the little red portions of the peppermint candy. I'm going to do it to both sides. I'm going to put a little black on it to make the wrapper look like it's there. Then I got this little mini cutting board that I used water and the hazelnut paint to stain, and then I cut out from a little sheer gift bag from the Dollar Tree these little pieces, and I'm just going to Mod Podge them right on and then cover them with Mod Podge once they are put on the little cutting board. I think this is adorable. I love this little cutting board. It came in a set from the Target Dollar Spot. And then there's some more of that wrapper. I'm just going to cut 2 pieces, fold each end over with some glue, and then I'm going to make a wrapper for the peppermint, like a real wrapper. And then I'm going to use some gold and white baker's twine to just tie up the 2 sides so it looks like a little wrapped piece of candy in there. And then I'll cut off the excess of that little twine. Isn't that cute? I actually use this one in a different DIY. Now I've got these very fine tip writing markers, and I'm going to make just little dashes all over these white beads and make it look like little sprinkles, and I love that. Then I'm just going to create a pattern that I like. You can do anything you like and string them. And I put a little piece of tape on the end of my twine to make it easier to string through the holes. And then at the ends I'm going to attach the 2 little wood pieces. I'm going to use my crocodile tool there to make a very little hole at the top of the gingerbread man so that I can get him attached. And you'll find that crocodile in my Amazon store. It's a very helpful tool, especially if you're dealing with pain in your hands or arthritis, because it takes almost no effort to use at all. I'm going to add some hot glue and just do some icing on there and use my white paint to enhance that. And then I'm going to take some markers and kind of outline his bow tie, buttons, and his eyes and mouth. Now, I didn't do my tassels on camera, but I will link a tassel tutorial down in the description box that I go into more detail on how to make a tassel, and you can watch that if you don't already know how. This one is adorable. You could just drape it over anything, any of your decor, and I just love the colors. He's so cute. Found this cute little gift box at the Dollar Tree. Now, first thing, I'm going to sand off those glittery parts. Once I do that, I'm going to paint the whole outside of the house with my hazelnut Waverly chalk paint. And it does take 2 coats pretty much, sometimes like 1.5, depending on what, how busy the pattern is. Then I'm going to cover the whole thing in Mod Podge. Now I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm just going to go to town and create icing and windows and doors and dripping snow, that kind of thing. And just as much as you want or as little as you want, and I'm going to just have fun with it. And when that's all done, I'm going to get that white paint and cover all this icing again. So I'll just let you watch me have fun decorating this house with the hot glue. You could use puffy paint. Again, I didn't have any, and I didn't have any white hot glue on hand to use. This worked just fine. It just added 1 extra step. So if you don't want to do that, buy the puffy paint or the white glue for the glue gun. If this is your first time visiting my channel, I'm so happy you're here, and I hope that you enjoy yourself and that you will hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so YouTube will let you know every time I post a new video. And if you've been watching for a while and you haven't subscribed yet, why not? Go ahead, do it now. Thanks. Quick question for you. Do you actually like the taste of gingerbread? I'm not too fond of it, but I love the way it looks. Let me know down in the comments. And now it's all painted white. Now I didn't add any color to this one, but you most certainly could. I just wanted to leave this one the way it is because the other pieces I made were very colorful. But I love how it turned out, and I added some glossy Mod Podge at the end just to make it a little bit more shiny. I love to use book pages in my crafts. I'm going to take this plain bag from the Dollar Tree and use some pages from a book. And I'm looking for pages that have more words than anything, less spaces. And then I'm going to use some cardboard as well. What I'm going to do is take my Moss, Fern, and Celery chalk paint by Waverly, and after I rip up the pages of the book into 4 sections, I'm going to lightly paint with water on my brush, so kind of creating like a watercolor effect. I'm going to paint each of the colors on 3 of the little broken pages, and then I'm going to mix them for the 4th one because I just want kind of the different tones of these colors. I got this idea from the Shabby Creek Cottage. I love her creativity and art, and she did this not on cardboard, but she did this just with the papers. I'll link her Instagram and YouTube channel down below. You're definitely going to want to check her out. She is so talented and really, really fun too. So I thought I would add a little texture to it by cutting out cardboard in the shape of 3 different triangles to make little Christmas trees. And then I'm going to dry off those pages and make sure that they are not wet anymore because the water really did kind of make them wet. And I'm just going to rip them into little strips. Once I do that, I'm going to take them and I'm going to use this really cool like kind of adhesive roller. I'll have this in my Amazon store. I love it because it's not wet. So you can use any kind of paper with this. So I'm just going to roll that on, and then I'm just going to put strips of the book pages with the different colors and just kind of mix them up on each of the little trees until I get to the very top. And I just think it looks really, really cute. Then I'm going to take the sides and just rip them right off the edge of the cardboard, and it just gives that nice little distressed rip look, which goes along with the strips that I made. I'm going to do the same thing to all 3 of them, but first I'm going to glue the very first one onto the bag, kind of right in the center there. I'm going to add some little pieces of cardboard on the back of each of the little trees, 2 on one and 3 on the other, so I can create different heights, and then I will hot glue it right to the front, and I'm going to put them over the original tree just again like give that dimension. And then I'm going to take some berries off of a pick and I'm put one at the top of each of the trees, hot glue them on. And that is just like the little topper to each of the trees. So cute. And then I've got this little like pine tree pick. And I just kind of pulled it apart and I'm just going to hot glue it underneath the bottom of the trees just to add, a little more pizzazz. I just think it's so cute. And it would be just a gorgeous, unique gift bag to give. Let me know what you think. I really love this one so much. For this plain gift bag hack, I'm going to use 3 acrylic paints. It's a green, a blue, and a red. And I'm just going to trace little circles on it using this little spray that I have. And I also got this idea from Gina at the Shabby Creek Cottage as well. She did hers a little different, but I was very inspired by it, so I thought I would try it too on a gift bag. I'm going to fold a paper bag that I have that I use for painting, and I'm going to stick it on the inside because I don't want to get the bag to wet so the paint won't soak through. If you are enjoying this video, please hit the like button. It helps my channel. So I've got my 3 circles. They're going to be ornaments. I'm going to water down my brush. I'm going to take the blue paint first and turn it into like a watercolor. And I'm just going to, not perfectly, but go around that circle and fill it in. And again, it does not have to be like full coverage or perfect because I'm trying to make it look a little bit more like watercolor. I think it came out a little darker than that, but that's okay. I still really like it. So then I'm going to do the red next, and then the last one is going to be the green. And don't worry about those pencil marks because we're going to do something that will basically cover those up, although they'll become part of what we're doing actually. Next, I'm going to take this black marker. It's very fine point. And I'm just going to loosely draw the circle repeatedly around each ornament. And I want it to look kind of sloppy in a way, but it's just giving it that definition, and that's why you won't see the pencil. Now I'm going to draw the little metal pieces that would normally go at the top of the ornament. I'm just kind of roughing it. And then I'm going to take this silver metallic paint that I got at Walmart, and I'm just going to do 2 coats for each of those little ornament toppers. Once that's dry, I'm going to take that marker and I'm going to go over the outline again, just like I did with the ornaments. And I'm going to draw the little hanger on as well. This does not have to be perfect, just have fun. I'm going to take some Beacon Fabric Tack glue and I'm going to take my gold and white baker's twine that I got at Target last year, and I'm just going to hot glue it from the top of the ornament just past the top of the gift bag, and then I'll trim each piece so there's a little bit hanging over. And now you can see the little hangers. And then I'm going to take this white chalk marker from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to make a couple little marks at the top left and the bottom right of each ornament to give it like a 3-dimensional look, as though the light is hitting it. I'm going to hot glue down that little extra piece of the twine to the inside. That is it, and I love this one. Let me know what you think. For this Dollar Tree gift bag hack, I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and I'm going to take some pumpkin Waverly chalk paint and a jot marker from the Dollar Tree also. I'm going to put that extra piece of a shopping bag inside to make sure that the wet paint doesn't soak through. And then I'm just going to freehand like kind of a half circle in the bottom right corner and then fill it in all the way to the edges. And you do not have to mark this ahead of time. You can just do this with your brush. It does not have to be perfect. And it doesn't have to be really solid coverage either. I'm going to dry that with my heat tool from Amazon. Saves me so much time. I'm going to take my black marker from the jot marker from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to draw 2 branches, one coming from each side of the little white half circle. I'm making a snowman if you haven't figured that out. And these are going to be his arms. And so here's the second one. I just drew a squiggly line and added some little branches. It's like he's reaching straight up into the sky. I'm going to make 2 little eyes, and then I'm going to make a mouth. And you can make these any way you want, whatever you like. I'm going to take the bottom side of a paintbrush, and I'm just going to use the white paint, and I'm going to make little snowballs, if you will, falling from the sky all around. Then I'm going to take a skewer stick and the flat side, and I'm going to make smaller ones. That way create some definition of the different sizes of the snow coming down. I'm going to take an orange jot marker from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to draw a little nose. So keep in mind he's looking straight up, so his nose is going to go upward. And so I'm just going to draw that out, but you can see where the white is versus the bag. So I'm going to come in with that pumpkin chalk paint. And I'm just going to go over the whole thing and make sure that it looks more like just one solid nose, not a 2-tone nose. And having done this, it actually makes it look more like a carrot too. And then I'm just going to touch it up with a finer art brush at the bottom and make sure it looks cute. I love this. This is one of my favorites. Let me know what you think. For this Dollar Tree plain gift bag hack, I've got 2 pieces of scrapbook paper. One is red, says Merry Christmas all over it. One's like a plaid. And then I've got this burlap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that little tape runner thing, and I'm just going to put that all over the back, and I'm just going to put this square right on the front of that gift bag, just as it is. I had this as a scrap, and it was basically already the right size for me. And I love this because there's no moisture. It just sticks so well. Next, I am going to draw a half of a heart and then fold this piece of paper in the center of where the heart would be, so that when I cut just one side and I open it up, I will have 2 even sides. It's a little trick I use to get things the same on both sides. I know I could not draw a heart without making them funny from side to side. I'm also going to cut out a piece of this burlap. I'm going to set my heart on it, and then I'm going to hot glue the heart right to the burlap. Once I do that, I'm going to cut and leave a little edge of the burlap all around the heart. That way it kind of frames it. You don't have to do a heart. You could do a Christmas tree. You could do a snowman, whatever you want. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to hot glue that directly to the middle of that scrapbook paper. This is going to be just the cutest little rustic bag, and I just love this. So easy. Then I'm going to take some very thin twine from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to hot glue it as a border all the way around the square scrapbook paper. And literally, that's it. This was so easy. You could do a bunch of these and just have great gift bags. I love this one. And it's kind of like, doing scrapbooking, but on a gift bag. Let me know if this is something you would ever want to try. I think this is about the easiest one of all. For this Dollar Tree plain gift bag hack, I'm going to use some red acrylic paint. I'm going to use the gold and white baker's twine. I'm going to go ahead and line the inside of the bag with my other paper bag that I'm using. And I'm going to get my brush real wet and I'm going to just go all across the bag, the sides, the front, and the back with the red, kind of like a watercolor look. I will dry it all off with my heat tool. Then I'm going to thread a needle that I have. It's like a plastic kind of embroidery needle. I'm going to use my pokey tool from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to poke holes back and forth in the shape of a Christmas tree. So when it's all done, the shapes will form a Christmas tree going up to the top point. And the reason I'm doing the holes first is that my needle is plastic and it doesn't just go through the paper as easily as a metal one would. So if you have a metal one, you can do it. But this also ensures that they are proportioned and exactly in the right places. So then I'm going to start underneath. I already made a knot. I'm going to pull it through, and I'm just going to go across and then go to the one next to it, and then go across and go to the one next to it, back and forth, so that my tree is just a bunch of lines going across that turns into a Christmas tree. And then I'm going to pull one right up at the top, and I'm going to do one of these little knots that I learned years ago for embroidery, where you wrap the thread or twine or whatever it is around the needle, and then you take the needle out and you go right through the center and then put it back through the surface, and it creates a really big knot. I know there's a name for this, so those of you who know how to embroider, you can tell me the name. I forget. And then I'm just going to put it right through. I'm going to hot glue it down on the inside just to make sure it's really tight. And isn't that the cutest? Take a little piece of burlap and I'm just going to kind of glue it to itself, like kind of roll it over in thirds. And then I'm just going to hot glue it to the base, and that becomes my tree trunk. Literally, that's all I'm going to do. You could add more embellishments to this. I decided to go simple. I do tend to go overboard, so I'm trying to keep it simple. And I do think this one is really easy and very, very cute. You could do different color twine too. And I think this would just be an adorable, easy way to make some beautiful gift bags. Let me know what you think down in the comments. So much cardboard I've been saving. I have this one wooden tag I'm going to use kind of as a guide, and I'm going to trace it around on my cardboard and cut out a tag shaped piece. Once I do that, we can start crafting. We are going to make some adorable gift tags made out of cardboard. I'm going to use some classic caramel paint from Apple Barrel. I've got an old book that's been nicely used and my little cardboard tag cut out. I'm going to rip out a piece of a book page that has lots of words on it, and I'm going to draw a little kind of reindeer face. And I'm looking at a picture. That's where I'm getting the idea from. I don't usually draw freehand without looking at something. So if you don't feel like you can draw, just look at something while you're doing it, and that'll help you kind of know what to do. There's the little face. I'm going to take my eraser and get rid of any extra pencil marks I have on there. I'm going to paint both sides of the gift tag with that caramel color and just do 2 coats to make sure that it covers really well on the one side. And then I'm going to paint the back, but I'm not going to do it as solid. I want to see some of the paint strokes. I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and I'm going to put the little reindeer head right on there. I'm going to cover first with Mod Podge so it has something to stick to. Now that I have that on there, I'm going to take a black dot marker. I'm just going to draw some antlers. Nothing fancy. This is almost cartoon-like. I'm going to draw an outline around the entire face, and then I'm going to make some cute little eyes, and then I'm going to take a little fine tip red marker and I'm going to make a little nose. Of course, it's red like Rudolph. And then I'll use my black marker again just to outline it and add a little more detail. Again, I'm looking at a picture. On the back, I'm just going to draw some lines. I want to leave some spaces where it can say to and from, and all around it, I'm going to use my Mod Podge and some faux snow just to cover it and make it look kind of festive. It's a little messy, and I probably could have just splattered on some white, but I thought it was really cute. And then I outlined the little boxes where you're going to see the to and from, and I have some stamps that I used for that. I'm going to use my crocodile tool. It's really good. My hands get really sore and I have arthritis. So I use that and it makes holes. It's got 2 different sizes and it goes through like nothing, no effort. I'm going to take some golden white baker's twine
and make a hanger.
And that is it. It's so cute.
What do you think about this one? Let me know.
For this gift tag, I have another piece of cardboard, some red paint, got the baker's twine again, and then I have a little pop top or soup can top and a piece of black felt. I'm going to paint the white side of the card all in red. I'm going to have to do a couple coats to cover it really well. Then I've got this gorgeous striped scrap of paper. I think it was from Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to trace the shape of the tag on there, cut it out. And I'm going to use some of this roller tape that I have from Amazon. I love this stuff for doing this. I'm just going to roll around the edges and then a little bit in the middle, and I'll be able to place that piece of scrapbook paper right on there very easily without any moisture at all. And then once I have it placed on there, I'll take my brayer, which I also got from Amazon, so that way it will make really good contact with the cardboard. And then I'll trim around the sides. I'm going to take my crocodile again and make a little hole in the top, and then I'm going to cut a little like rectangular piece of the felt. I'm going to narrow it down a little bit to make a belt. We're making a little Santa jacket. I'm going to attach that with my Beacon Fabric Tack glue right on there, and then I will trim off the edges. I'm going to add the twine at the top and knot it off. Then I'm going to take my little pop top and I'm going to hot glue that right on, and that'll become the buckle of the belt. And then I'm going to take a teeny tiny little piece of the black felt, put it over the top so it looks like it was threaded through the belt itself. I just hot glued that piece on. It was really easy and quick. Isn't that cute? Now I'm going to take a mop head from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to pull out one strand and I'm going to hot glue it to the very bottom so it looks like that's his little fur on the bottom, and I'll trim off the edges. I've got 3 buttons that I wanted for the right sizes, but they weren't all the right color, so I painted them all black. And then I'm just going to hot glue them right on to the front of his jacket. And literally that's it. This one is so cute. I love it. Imagine how fun this would be to make with your grandkids or your kids. And so inexpensive too.
You'll have to let me know what you think of this one, and is this something you might want to make too?
I love crafting with book pages, so we're going to take another one. I'm going to paint this tag with that caramel paint again, just on the one side. And then on the white side, we're going to use some scrapbook paper, and this is just music notes. And I also got this at Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to trace out the size. And I'm going to repeat the same process of using the tape roller, attaching this to the very back, and then using my brayer to make sure it's nice and secure to the surface.
I've got a question for you. Would you like to see more book page crafts? I love to make them, so let me know down in the comments.
See how easy that is? No mess at all. I will trim off the edges. And then I'll grab my crocodile and make another hole to hang the twine. I'm going to draw a little angel shape. Now again, I'm looking at a picture, and I ended up making it a little too big, so then I made some other lines and kind of brought it down in size so that it would fit over the tag. I'm going to cut that out. You see my adjustments there. And now it fits perfectly. And then I'll take an eraser and get rid of any extra pencil marks that might show through. Now, you have to be really careful with book pages. They're very fragile, and I wanted to rough up the edges, so I tried to hold it very carefully
and do a very light sanding around the edges.
And I accidentally pulled off a wing, but it was no problem. I used my Mod Podge to attach it to the gift tag, and I was able to put it right back, so no harm. The angel is doing just fine. And since I kind of distressed the edges, that just looked perfect anyway. So cute. And then I made a little halo. I just kind of cut it out of the same book page, just out of little scrap pieces. If you enjoy crafting on a budget, doing easy DIYs,
I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell so you will know every time I post a new video. Now I'm going to cover the whole thing with Mod Podge to make sure that it is nice and sealed.
I'm adding the twine, as I did before.
I'm going to stamp the words to and from on the back, and that's all there is to it. It's done.
Isn't that so adorable? Let me know what you think. On when I first got this one going, and it wasn't. So unfortunately I have to describe to you what I did. I literally looked at a picture and just drew some tree branches so it looked like a tree, and once I have that on there, I just used a very fine tip marker to do that. And then I'm going to take a red marker and I'm going to draw a little cardinal in the tree, and I kind of got in close here so that you can see it's literally just a little oval and a circle on top with a little nose and then a little kind of wing shape on the bottom. It's not even a rectangle really, a little wide at the bottom. And then I just filled it in, and then I made him a little wider around the sides because I thought he was too skinny, and I just think it's so sweet and cute. It's not perfect, it's just a shape, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Then I took that brown and I made a little eyeball for him. And now I got this scrap of paper with little Christmas trees on snow, and I'm going to trace that on the tag, and I'm going to attach that to the other side of the tag just like I have before with the tape roller, the brayer, and then I'll trim the edges again. I'm going to use my crocodile again to make a hole in the top of the tag. And then I'm going to take this scrap of paper, it just says Merry Christmas in cursive all over it, and I'm going to cut out a little rectangular piece, and then I'm going to rip the top of it so it just kind of looks like a ripped edge going across. And then I'm going to attach that with that roller, that tape roller to the very bottom. I just think it's so cute there. It's hard to do the smaller pieces because they stick to everything, but I've got it on there, and then I'm just going to trim the edges. Now, I smeared the marker. I didn't realize I was going to do that, so I just put a little white paint all around, make it kind of look like snow was in the air, and then I could touch that up. I love this one so much. It might be my favorite. Let me know what you think. Love red trucks, and so does my husband. So I've got this scrap of paper that has a bunch of red trucks, and I'm going to put my tag over one of them so I can cut it out so you can see the truck. And that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to erase my pencil marks, and then I'm going to put my tape roller all over the tag and attach that one to the one side. Now, listen, I couldn't just leave well enough alone, so I got my mop head out again, and I started like shredding little pieces and hot gluing them to where the snow is on the truck in the picture. Now, at first it looks really weird because you can see the little strands, and then I start like ripping it up kind of and fluffing it, and then it started kind of looking like snow. So in the end, I liked it, but at first I was like, what are you doing? Do you ever do that where you start something and then you realize, you know what, this isn't going where I wanted it to, and so then you figure out a way to fix it. Anyway, that's the thing. It's just crafting. We all do it. We make mistakes. We don't always know which direction we're going in, and then we figure it out, and that's the fun of creating, and I love that. And I just want to encourage each of you to create something whenever you feel like it. Just, it doesn't matter how it comes out. It's just the act of creation that is so cool. We were created to create. And I'm just going to finish this up with some more of the mop head and fluff it out. And literally, it's like I'm just ripping it almost, like ripping the little pieces or pulling them apart. It's just like a very fine, like cotton. I guess that's what I would call it. I'm going to take my crocodile and make a hole right in the top again. See, there you go. You can see it now. It does look better, like drifting snow kind of. And then I'm going to do the to and the from on the back. And I'm going to cut out a little snowman and some presents. I'm going to fussy cut all around them. And then I'm going to use my Mod Podge and attach them. Now, the ink I was using for the stamps, there must be something about it doesn't dry very fast. And so I smeared it again, and I ended up just taking a wet cloth, and it comes right off. And then I just wrote to and from in kind of like typewriter font writing the best I could. And you know, sometimes that's just, you have to make adjustments. I'm going to put some more of that Mod Podge. I'm going to take the strand and break it into one strand. It comes 3, and I'm just going to hot glue that all the way around the edges. And then I'm going to thicken it up so that you won't see the cardboard. And it did end up coming out really cute. You'll have to tell me what you think about this one. I've got this book that I use for crafting, and then I'm just going to take all these pages out, and I'm going to use my little tape roller, and that's always in my Amazon store, by the way, in case you're interested. I use it a lot in this video. Super handy. You can use regular tape too. Anyway, I'm going to put all these book pages together, different directions, upside down, right side up, you name it, until I get a big enough piece to wrap a gift. And so I'm just going to keep doing the taping until I get that. Super easy. And then we'll just wrap it just like it's a present with wrapping paper. There's my big, huge piece. Doesn't that look cool? Now I'm just going to put the gift that I'm going to wrap right on top of it. And I'm just going to take the usual long side, put the other one over the top. I'm going to use my little tape roller underneath and just attach it. I'm sure you all know how to wrap a present, so I'll just let you watch, and I'll go a little faster than normal. And now that it's all wrapped, I'm going to take some Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm just going to wrap it around like you would normally tie a bow around a present. And what I'm going to do though instead is I'm going to tie a knot, and then I'm going to dovetail the 2 ends. And then I'm going to embellish just a little bit. I'm going to stick my tails down. And I've got a little bag of scrap things that I keep from pics and things. And I'm just going to attach a few of those, stick them under the ribbon, and then put the little shiny berries right on top with some hot glue. And this one is done. And I just think this came out so pretty. You could wrap all your presents in book pages. It's amazing. So economical too. Have you ever wrapped presents with book pages? Let me know. For my next unconventional Dollar Tree wrapping hack, I have a placemat that I bought for crafting, and I hadn't used it. Now, these 2 dish towels I did get at the Dollar General, but they also sell really cute ones at Dollar Tree. And I bought those to craft with, and I just haven't used them, so they're just taking up room in my stash. So I'm going to use the Farm Fresh Christmas tree dish towel and the placemat. So I'm going to turn this gift on the back, and I'm going to put the whole placemat on it. And I'm going to use my little tape roller. Then I'm going to turn it over. I'm just going to push up those sides and attach them with the tape. And then I'm going to take my dish towel, basically do the same thing, just attach it to the top. And I like those little like tassels at the bottom, so I'll make sure they stay the way they are. And then on the other side, I have a lot of excess, so I'm just going to kind of fold that in and tuck it under. And I'm just going to attach the little ends so that they don't go anywhere with my tape roller. Of course, you can use regular tape anytime you need to. I just love this little thing. Then I've got this really pretty buffalo check black and white wired ribbon. I'm just going to tie it around, and I'm going to adjust it so it's not over the top of that cute little square Farm Fresh Christmas trees. I'm going to tie a knot, and I'm going to dovetail the ends like I did before. And because it's a wired ribbon, I'm just going to kind of fan them out. I'm going to go back into my little scrap bag and get some cute little silver branches and a little bit of frosted pine branches, and just really make it pretty and put a little pine cone right in the center. And that's all there is to it. Let me know what you think. For the next unconventional gift wrap hack, I'm going to take some yarn from the Dollar Tree, and then this is also the craft paper you can get there. And I've just got a box here I'm going to use to wrap. I'm just going to wrap this the normal way you would wrap a present. I'll use my tape roller again, and then I will, tuck up the sides and tape them as well. Once my present's all wrapped, I decided to take the really pretty kind of sage green and white yarn. I'm going to pull 2 ends together, and then I'm going to hot glue that to the back. And then I'm just going to start wrapping around the long way on the present, just crisscross all the way around, like any way you want. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just going to look pretty just because of what it is. When I think that I've got enough, I'm going to go back to the back and I'm going to hot glue the last little pieces down, and then I'm just going to trim that right off so that it lays flat. Then I'm going to take the yarn going the short way around. I'm going to do the same thing, hot glue the ends, wrap it around until I think it looks pretty, and then hot glue the two ends to the back and trim that off. What an easy way to wrap a present, and it looks so pretty. Now that we have our yarn, we can add a couple of embellishments on the top. I'm going to go back into my little pick scraps, and I'm going to add some little greenery to the top, one on each side of the center. And then I'm just going to add some little red berries right in the middle. Isn't that cute? So easy and so fast. Would you believe I have beanies in my craft stash from Dollar Tree? So I'm going to take one of them so I can wrap this cute little hot chocolate thing. And I've got a ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to take the beanie and I'm going to put it right over the top. So you can see how it folds up. I'm going to take the ribbon and I'm going to put it right above that fold. And I'm going to tie a bow, a shoestring bow. Boy, this cannot be easier. But it's so cute, and not only do they get the little hot chocolate canister, they get a beanie too. And I just think that's super cute. And I'm going to dovetail the ends of the bow. And then I'm just going to add a couple of little greenery picks right in there from my little scrap stash. And some more red berries right in the center. And then this one is done. As easy as can be, and I think it's so cute. Let me know what you think. I had a bunch of doilies in my stash because I did a whole video on doilies. I'll link that down in the description box. And I've got this cute little mug. I'm going to put some candies in it and a little loose tea holder. And I'm going to take 3 of the larger doilies. And I'm just going to take my tape roller and attach all the little edges. And then that will become the bottom. I'll turn it over, and that way the attached side will be underneath. And I'll put my mug right in the middle. I'm going to pull up the edges or the roundest part of the doily, and I'm literally going to take a piece of red fabric. I'm going to snip the end and rip the rest of it down so it's really nice and cute. I'm just going to tie that around this, and that will hold the whole thing together. I'm going to do a knot and then dovetail the ends, and then I'm going to take 2 of the small doilies and pinch the middle, and I'm going to put them in like you would with tissue paper in a bag, and just so you can't see what's inside of the mug. And I just think that was super easy. I've got these little pieces that I saved, and I'm just going to stick the leaves underneath and glue the berries to the center, and that is it. I think this one is so cute and festive with the red and white. I think that would look so pretty under the tree, and that was just about as easy as it could ever get. You have to let me know if this is something you would even try. I have a lot of these little dust towels from the Dollar Tree, and I thought, you know what, I've got this remote I'm giving as a gift, and it's going to go to a guy, and I thought a dust cloth would be great for the car. So I thought, what a great idea. And I'm just going to fold this up like a gift. I'm not going to do any tape on this one at all because I'm going to use the ribbon to seal it. Kind of sticks to itself pretty well. So see how I've got it all situated like a wrap present. I'm going to take my Dollar Tree ribbon and just going to put that around and hold those sides up, so that way when I wrap it around, it seals the whole thing. And now I've got this super cute, it looks like it's wrapped in snow, which I think is adorable. I just think this is such an easy and cute way. You could wrap all kinds of gifts with this because it's a pretty decent sized dust towel. And that's one of the things that was really nice about it. I'm just going to make a little shoestring bow here. And then of course I will trim and dovetail the ends of the ribbon. And then again, I will embellish with some more little scraps from greenery picks that I had that are Christmassy, just to make it look so cute and so festive. And of course, I will not glue anything to the actual dust towel. I'm sticking the greenery under the ribbon and then putting the berries right on the ribbon itself. Let me know what you think about this one too. Conventional Dollar Tree wrapping hack. I'm going to use a Dollar Tree scarf. I'm going to take the scarf. I want the little tassels at the end to show, so I'll fold them back, and that's where I will start my wrapping, and I'm just going to wrap it around until I get the whole thing covered. And then I'm going to use my little tape roller just in strategic places to make sure that it stays. It's not really going to go anywhere the way I'm doing it, but I think that this will just help a little bit. You could also use ribbon as well to make this stay. I'm going to pull back the tassels on the other piece too. So I'm just going to kind of fold under the sides like you do when you gift wrap. And that's where I'm going to add a little bit of the tape roller, and that just holds it really nicely in place. If you enjoy DIYs on a budget, please consider subscribing to my channel and then turning on the notification bell so you won't miss out whenever I upload a new video. Now I'm going to take this cute little silver flower and some greenery picks that I had left over, and I'm going to attach them. I had to use a little bit of Scotch tape on this one because it doesn't lay flat, so I just rolled it up to make it like two-sided tape and stuck that right in the center with the greenery, and that was it. That is all it took for this one. How cute. I have so much fabric in my stash, and a lot of it comes from Dollar Tree. So I got this cute little mug. I've got a hot chocolate little canister and some candy canes, and I'm going to choose which fabric I want to use. And this one I had already used before, so I thought I'll just take the piece I have left over. And I just literally put the mug in the center. I pull up the four corners, and then I'm just going to tape them to the top of the little canister, and that will hold them in place, and it creates little pleats as you go around. I've got another ribbon from the Dollar Tree that I'm going to use to tie all the way around this, and I'm just going to make a knot, and then I'm going to dovetail the ends of my ribbon, and then I'm going to take two candy canes and crisscross them in the front because I think that's so adorable. But then the center looked a little bit empty, so I decided to add another little teeny candy cane and glue it right in the center. And then I'm going to add a couple of silver branches just to make it a little bit sparkly as well. And that's all it takes for this one. It's so cute, and I hope you like it. I have a lot of Dollar Tree deco mesh because I always think I'm going to make wreaths and then I don't. So I decided I'm going to use some of it. I've got these cute little toys from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to put them together to show you how this will look wrapped up. Once I have them placed the way I think they will lay the flattest, I'm going to take the first piece of deco mesh, and I'm literally going to just hot glue that little dot right onto that plastic. It'll come right off afterwards, so no worries there. And then I'm just going to start wrapping this roll of deco mesh, and it's just really bright colored. It'll look really pretty under the tree. Then I have another roll of this decorative mesh that looks like it has snow on it, and I'm literally going to do the exact same thing with that one until I get to the end. And of course I always save those little rolls in the middle because you can use those for crafts. You never know, right? Then I have this one piece left over from a project that I did a while back, and it's long enough to make a bow. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie it around and then make a cute little bow, and then I will fluff the loops of the bow because this mesh really looks pretty when you fluff it out. And look, that's so easy. And then I've got these red shiny little branch picks, and I'm going to stick them in there, and that is it. This one was super easy and very cute too. I love to decoupage, and I buy all kinds of napkins, but I only use one or two of them, and then I've got tons of napkins left. So I thought, why not use this adorable Santa jacket napkin to wrap a present? So I'm going to use my little tape roller, and it's not big enough to go all the way around, but I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom first, and then I'll cut the piece exactly that I want to see on the top for the very top. So there's the piece I want on the top. It's the one with the shiny buckle and button. So I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue the first side of that on, and then I will trim the rest of that around because I don't need the rest of that napkin there now. Now I could have just attached the two napkins together, then it would have been big enough to wrap, but I didn't think of that till afterwards, so that might be an easier way to do this. Either way, this is coming out super cute. And I'm just going to tack down the corners to make sure that the whole top doesn't move around. I've got some more Dollar Tree ribbon, and I'm just going to wrap two pieces around one side just for a little decoration. And I'm just going to use the tape and snip the ends and just put that on there, and there'll be two side by side. And then I'm going to do one more piece kind of around the top to cover up any raw edges that were left behind. I've got this cute little gold pitberry garland. I'm just going to snip a piece, and I'm going to wrap
the two sides, two ends around my finger and leave a flat piece in the middle. I'm going to tuck it under the ribbons, and that way I'll have some cute little curly Q pitberry garland right on there. And then I'm going to add a little greenery right in the center and hot glue that on. This was another very easy one. Just think of all the napkins you have if you like to do decoupaging that never get used after the initial project. So this is one way to go through your stash, clear some of it out, and wrap your presents. Win-win, in my opinion. Use this piece of scrap wood. I'm not even sure where I got it, but there it is. I've got a dowel that I bought at Home Depot, and then I've got these 3 ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and I've got these little screw-in like hook eyes, I think they're called, I don't know. And then these 2 Merry and Bright signs from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue them together to make it more sturdy because these are super, super thin. So I'm going to use a combination of wood glue and hot glue, and I love that container. I got that on Amazon, and it just holds a lot of my glue that's less expensive, so I can just keep filling it up, and I love that so much.
If I mention that I got something at Amazon, there will be a link in my description box for my Amazon store, and you can find it there if it's something that you need to.
So I'm just going to put some dots of hot glue around the wood glue, and then I'm going to put them right together and squeeze. And if I found any spots that didn't stick, I'll add a little more hot glue and just kind of make sure it sticks. I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum Linen White chalk paint to cover both sides and the edges of this. There you go, all painted and ready to go. Now I'm going to sand this piece of scrap wood, and I used my jigsaw to cut it, but I had to do it outside so I didn't film it. And now I'm going to use that same paint, and I'm going to paint the whole thing, and it only takes about 1.5 coats. There it is, looks great. Now I'm going to paint the dowel, but first I'm going to use my miter shears from Amazon, and I'm going to cut it. Now it looks like it's hard for me to do. It's not. I just didn't want it to fly off the table, so I was going really slow so it wouldn't. But it really was like no big deal to do that at all. So now I'm going to see if I put them inside that big gap there, will my sign fit in there nicely? And yes, it will. That's what I was trying to do. And so now I'm going to go ahead and paint those to match. Everything's going to be white. I'm going to take my sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree and another nail file. I'm going to distress and sand around. Now I'm going to take my hot glue. I'm going to put a lot of hot glue, and I'm going to set down my little dowel, one on each side, and that way I will create that smaller gap to place my sign in. I hope you'll come find me on social media. I am on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook, same name. Please come see me and say hi. And now I'm going to take that nail file and I'm going to go around and distress the edges even more. I just like the way it looks. It's funny, this one has a glam element to it, but I also like the wood to be slightly distressed, and I didn't want to do it with paint. I wanted it to be more subtle and natural. So that's what I'm doing. There you go. Now you can see all the edges. I just really like that. I did a little in the middle of the sections too. So now I'm going to take my little eyes and I'm going to figure out with my ruler where exactly the middle is, and then I'm going to measure where to put the other ones. So I just kind of twisted in, made the holes, and there they are. Just took a little bit of muscle, actually not much at all. I didn't pre-drill holes. So now I'm setting my Merry and Bright sign in there, and I'm going to use hot glue, and a lot of hot glue, because I want this to stay standing up. And it wasn't like a fully tight fit, but with the hot glue that fills in the gap, no problem. So I'm going to go through and start off and just get some in there, and then once I have that part dry, I can let go of the little sign and start filling in some more hot glue to make it even more stable. And that's what I do. And I took a little bit of mop head and just filled in that one little spot because I thought that looked kind of nice and I didn't want to see any gap there. I did that on both sides. So now I'm going to take my ornaments and I'm going to use these silver little ties that came with some of the ornaments from Dollar Tree. I'm going to tie it through the hole in the ornament and then through my little hook eyes, and I'm going to tie a double knot. I do add a dab of hot glue there to make sure that knot doesn't come out. I'm going to trim those little pieces, and then I'm going to hide the knot into the ornament itself. See, I'm sliding it down right there, and I put it right inside there. And I actually do put a little glue there too, just to keep it there. So all three of them I put on the exact same way, and the middle one hangs a little lower, which I love. And then I'm going to take these sawtooth hangers that I ordered on Amazon. I got them in different sizes. I'm going to use my little pokey tool from the Dollar Tree,
And I'm going to start a little hole, and then I'll take my drill and find the right size bit for these screws, and I'm just going to drill them straight in. I am using a level because I'm trying to make sure that the whole thing is level across so it doesn't hang crooked. I ordered these little fairy lights on Amazon. They came 6, I think, in a pack, and I'm just going to hot glue that little controller to the back. They don't need regular batteries, they already come with them. And then I'm going to start wrapping the fairy lights around, just however you want, like whatever you think looks good. So I can't really say how you should do it. This is what I did. Just tried to get it, and I love this one, you guys. It's so pretty. Easy. So I've got this gorgeous kind of vase that was some flowers that my brother sent me, and I've got these bottle brush trees, and I've got a couple of ornaments, and I've got this Epsom salt, and then I've got some glitter and some snow from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to clean my container with some rubbing alcohol, and then I'm going to open up the Epsom salts and put what I have left into the cylinder vase. And then I'm going to add some of the Dollar Tree faux snow, and that's kind of got some glittery look to it. I love the combination. I'm going to mix them up together, and then I've got these little teeny balls of snow, and I'm going to add those also, just a little bit. And I'm going to mix those up too. I wanted it to look like all different kinds of consistencies of snow, because that is how snow is. And now I'm going to take the larger bottle brush tree that was from Dollar General, and then I'm going to end up using only 3 of the little ones, even though you see 4 there. And then I've got these 3 ornaments, 2 glittery silver and 1 just regular silver, and I just think it looks so pretty. And I'm just creating this little snowscape. So I'm putting the first large tree in on the one side, then I'm going to add the little bit of glitter I have left. It's very little, and I just thought I'd put that on whatever didn't get glitter on it, and it makes it look like it's glistening in the sun. And then I'm going to flock all of the little trees and paint the bases white also, because I want it to look like it's been snowing quite a bit in this little snowscape. Now I'm going to place my 3 little Christmas trees on the opposite side, and I thought this was so cute, but I felt like it just needed something else. So what I did was I found in my little wood cutouts a larger deer and then a little deer. And I had already painted that one for another project I didn't use. So I'm going to take the burnt umber, and I'm going to paint both sides, and then I'm going to use a paper towel and wipe it off so it's almost like a stain. Now that's what I had done with the little deer you see there already. When you wipe it off, it just leaves the perfect amount on there. Then I'm going to take my white chalk paint, and now I'm going to dry brush all over this deer. And then I will also wipe that off with a wet baby wipe, because I want to make sure that they look as similar as possible to each other. And I did add a little more white paint to the little ones so they would match better. Now I'm just going to take them and place them in this snowscape. It's kind of like a mother deer and a baby deer, and I just thought it was so sweet. You guys, I love this. The funny thing is it's so easy, and it comes out absolutely beautiful. I hope you try this one. Ornament shapes. I'm going to use my Kills White primer paint. I'm going to paint both sides. I'm actually going to be putting some paper on. I'm going to be using a glue stick to attach it. I like to paint the surface before I put paper, tissue, or napkins, because that way if anything shows through, it's not the wood color. I got that paper at Hobby Lobby, and teachers use it for their boards. Anyway, I think it's a great quality, and it was very good price. It was on 40% off. There's my little glue stick from the Dollar Tree. Can't beat that. You get like 4 or 8 in a package for $1. I'm going to attach each of the little squares that I cut out of the buffalo check paper. I'll use my brayer to flatten it, cut around it, and then I'm going to take my sanding sponge from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to, in a downward motion, go around all the edges and make sure that I get all of the excess paper off. Now I'm not going to show me doing it to both sides, but I'm going to do the exact same thing to both sides. I'm going to take a little bit of my metallic silver folk art paint, and I'm just going to paint that little top part of the ornament. You know how they're usually silver, so I'm just going to put that on there, let it dry. Then I'm going to take my decoupage solution, and I'm going to put it across the front of each piece so that I can put some words on each ornament. Then I'm going to take my little ruler, I'm going to measure it both horizontally and vertically. So on 2 of them, I'm going to put the words joy and peace. And then the third one, because there was white in the center and you wouldn't have been able to see the letters, I put that gold sparkly glitter piece on there. So I laid the mat out, placed a piece of parchment paper over the top. I heated up the little iron per the specifications, included a screenshot to show you that you would heat it to the medium level for 40 seconds when you're putting something onto wood. Also keep the little mini press moving. When it's done, let it cool off, remove the parchment paper, and then pull off the backing and the heat transfer vinyl. This was so easy, and it adds such a beautiful little touch to this DIY. Now all I need to do is take the word that I printed out for this one, which was hope, and add it right over the top of that pretty gold glitter heat transfer vinyl. I just love the way this looks. It's so pretty. Then I'm going to take the other 2 ornaments and I'm going to kind of arrange them and hot glue them together, and I'm going to put this on a little tiered tray, and I think it turned out so cute and it was super easy. That I got at Walmart, and this cute little burlap that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make an adorable Christmas banner. There were so many cute ones on Pinterest that inspired me. I have a little 3-inch triangle template that I made out of cardboard. We're going to cut out those pieces with my rotary cutter from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to place them on the burlap and just glue right across the top. I'm going to apply them to my banner on each of the little triangles, and then I'm going to get out my heat pad and Easy Press Mini. I'll heat up my Easy Press Mini to medium, and then I will apply it for 25 seconds to each letter, moving it around constantly, and then afterwards turning it over and doing it for a little bit less time on the back of each letter. After I let it cool down for just a couple minutes, I can go ahead and remove the backing. And now I'm going to take a scissors and I'm just going to cut in between the green triangles and give my banner just a little more dimension. Super easy, and I love how it turned out. To finish it off, I'm going to use some thick twine from Walmart, and I'm going to attach it to the back and make little loops to hang it. And then I'm also going to put a piece of twine across the top of the front because I thought that just looked super cute. And I really am happy with how this turned out, and I hope you guys like it. Be sure to let me know. From, I think it's the Dollar Tree, it says Believe, a little ornament, reindeer head, snowflakes, bottle brush trees, and a foam wreath, and then that white towel from the automotive section. I'm going to use my white chalk paint, and I'm going to paint all around those words, and then use this brushed metal gold paint from Folk Art to paint over the top. I just didn't like exactly the way that gold looked that was on there. I'm going to change it again anyway. And then I'm going to flock all 3 of these trees and get them ready to place on the wreath when we make it. And I'm going to layer my little snowflakes. I cut out the center of that white one, and you see it on the left there. I'm going to end up putting it on the back so it shows through, and I just thought that made it look even cuter. And then I'm going to take off those red berries, and I'm going to put some silver on his little bell, and then I'm going to flock his little wreath around his neck, or what, garland around his neck. Now I'm going to take my foam wreath form and my little white towel, and I'm going to cut some slits in the middle, and I'm going to start hot gluing it, but I end up cutting a lot of this off until I can wrap it. I don't want it to be super bulky and bumpy, which is hard to do. I could have done strips, but then it frays really bad, so I was trying to minimize the amount of fraying that would be kind of on an open end. So I'm just going to let you watch as I cut and tuck and glue until I get it all covered. It's kind of hard to describe how to do it, so you'll see what I did. I cut little slits. If you have an easier way, I would definitely do that. I have never covered a foam wreath like this in fabric, so I'm sure that there is a better way, but it worked. It got the job done, and that was all that I was concerned about. And as long as the front looked good, that's what mattered to me, because it's going to be all white no matter what. There it is. I think it looks pretty good on the front. Now I'm going to make a hanger before I add anything else to it. I'm going to take some of this mop head and I'm going to cut a piece, and I'm just going to hot glue it right at the top where I've decided the top is. I'm going to hot glue each of the ends, and then I'm going to cut a couple pieces of the faux leather from Dollar Tree and just hot glue a little like rectangle piece to the end though, so that they don't kind of start fraying apart, because the mop heads do tend to do that. And plus it's white and I think it looks nice and it kind of finishes it off. What I'm going to do is turn it over, and I'm going to put my little snowflakes up towards the kind of right upper side. I'm just going to hot glue that. It sticks really well to that towel. Then I'm going to start putting my little trees. I'm going to have to hold it up because I want them standing up in the center like a little scene. So once I figure that out, I will hot glue those down, and they stay really well next to each other because of the bottle brush aspect. They kind of intertwine a little bit. Then I'm going to take my reindeer ornament head and I'm going to put him on the inside like a profile, and I think that looks super cute. Now I put the third tree on and then I took it off because it was going to be blocked by my sign, so I kind of put it towards the back in between the two trees so you just see it poking up. Now I'm going to take my Believe sign because I still wasn't happy with it. I'm going to put Mod Podge all over that, and I'm going to put some silver glitter on it, and I think that just does the trick. Makes it look very snowy and festive, and I'm not a big glitter fan, but I do think that's what this one needed. So once I get that all on there, I'm going to paint the back white because I hadn't done that yet. And now I'm going to figure out the placement on the front of my wreath, and I'm going to attach some more of that mop head to it with a really good strong amount of hot glue. And I'm going to put a little more of that faux leather over each of those ends to hold it in place. The same exact thing on the other side, so they're both attached to the sign. And then I'm going to put the sign on with hot glue, and it stays very well, but I have another way I'm going to secure it, and I'll show you that in just 1 minute here. Okay, turn the wreath over, and I'm going to take the remaining part of the strand of the mop head and I'm going to glue it all the way up to where the hanger is, and that just really secures that sign. So I'm super happy with this, you guys. It's so cute. I hope you like it. This on Pinterest, I knew I had to make it my own version. So I've got these 3 pieces of scrap wood. I did cut them with my jigsaw off camera. Now they have these holes in them, and I could use wood filler, but I have this little trick where I put a piece of tape on the back and then I fill it with hot glue, and when it dries I just sand off that little bump. It works so well. Anyway, I'm going to sand them all with my sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and I'm going to paint all 3 of these pieces. And now I'm showing you where the glue was filled, and you can barely even notice it. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Now I'm going to take a little nail file from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go around every edge of these 3 pieces, and I just love the way that distresses. It's just like the perfect amount, and it's just a natural looking distress, like they're worn, and I just love that look so much. I love to watch crafting videos while I craft, so if you do too, I have a mega playlist that you might want to check out in my description box. And now they are all done. Don't they look great with that? I love that technique. Anyway, now what I'm going to do is I have a little base for them. It's just a little piece from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to sand that down, and then I'm going to also paint it with the Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, but I'm going to very lightly dry brush over the top. I am going to go around the edges a teeny bit heavier, but I'm not even going to do the bottom. You can kind of see how it looks. It's just enough. I didn't want it to be solid white like the rest. I wanted a little contrast. I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue to go ahead and attach all 3 of these pieces of wood. They are now my candles, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and hold it till the hot glue sets up, and then I can let go and the E6000 will eventually dry. And I'm going to do that with all 3 of my candle pieces. And now you can see how they look on there. I'm going to grab some little greeneries that I got on Amazon. I'm just going to take 2 pieces. They're like little evergreens. I'm going to snip off the extra piece on the end there because I don't need that much. And I'm going to figure out exactly how wide I want them to be by placing them up against the candles. I'm going to get some jute twine and be ready to tie them together. Now that I have them where I want them, I'm just going to wrap the jute twine around several times, tie a knot, wrap it again, tie another knot, and then trim off the excess pieces. I like doing that because it just holds it together, and it also gives you a nice place to glue something for the center if you want to. Next, I'm going to take my chalk paint again, and I'm going to flock this greenery. I love doing this because I love that the green still pokes through, but you just get it kind of on the edges, and I go all the way around every part of it. Doesn't that look pretty? Now I'm going to place it on the front of my 3 candles right on that base, and I'm going to use hot glue, a lot of hot glue, and then I'm going to hold it in place because sometimes if you don't with something like this, it doesn't fully attach because you know the greenery is not a solid piece, but there it is. Now I'm going to take a mop head, you can tell I've used this one quite a bit, and I'm going to pull out a strand, and then I'm going to cut 3 little pieces, but first I'm going to hot glue kind of the pieces that are loose because I want them to stay together for this. So then I'm going to cut 3 pieces, and these are going to become my candle wicks. So I'm going to glue both ends of them, make a little point on the one end that's like the top of the flame, and then I'm going to use an Arteza paint marker. I think it's the lemon yellow paint marker. You'll see it here in a second. And I'm going to paint most of this little candle wick with the yellow, and just a little bit on the bottom will still be white where it hasn't burned yet, if you will. There's the marker, and here I am painting right on top. I thought this was a cute way to create a flame without a flame. I'm going to do 3 of these, and then I'm going to attach them directly to the top middle of each candle like I am right here with the hot glue, and just kind of make sure they're facing upward. And then I've got my cute little candle wicks. Oh my gosh, it looks so adorable. Ignore those little ornaments on there. I took them off. I did not like it. Instead, I'm using these pine cones. I'm going to flock them. I'm going to put 5 pine cones on there, 1 larger one, and then a bunch of little ones around it. I wanted to keep this a little more rustic, and those little ornaments just glammed it up too much. I love this one, you guys. It's very simple, not a lot of embellishments, but just enough. DIY. I've got this little, I think it's a beer flight board. I got it at Target Dollar Spot for $5. Took off the little leather handle or tie, and I'm going to paint the whole thing front and back and the sides with the white chalk paint from Rust-Oleum, the linen white. And when that is done, then I'm going to use a white hanger instead that I had left over from another project, and I'll just add that to the top. Then for the O, I'm going to do the word snow. I'm going to use that white piece of a snowflake, and then this little wood cutout of a snowflake, and then I have a little silver one, and these are all different things that came from different places, and I just decided to put them together, and I thought that layering effect looked really, really cute. Then I have some stickers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to spell out the S, N, and the W, but I'm going to lay some Mod Podge down first so it's a nice smooth surface. Inside those circles it was kind of rough, so I'm just going to do that to make sure that the letters have something nice to stick to. And then I'll cover each letter with Mod Podge as well. And then to finish this off, I have 2 bells that I got last year from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to take that little silver tie that's on each one and feed it through the hole and then tie them together. And I'm going to hot glue them in place on the back and the front. And then I'm going to put another one of those little white snowflakes over the back to cover up where I cut off the pieces and hot glued them down, which is a nice little finishing touch. And what a cute little snow sign with the bells. I absolutely love it. Talk about an easy DIY. project. I saw this on Pinterest and it was so cute. And I thought, I can do this with some Dollar Tree supplies I have. So I've got this little pumpkin from the Dollar Tree. Took off the tag on the back, sanded all around it, got that glitter off. Why do they put so much glitter, you guys? Using my little ladybug vacuum from Amazon. Now I'm going to measure both the width and the length because I need to know how much space I've got when I make my lettering. Now I'm going to use my Kills primer paint in white. That's going to be my first coat, and then I'm going to use my white chalk paint from Folk Art. And I'm going to go ahead and get a really nice coverage on here with one coat of that. I am going to use a very small ruler so I can draw some lines. I'm creating a cell phone. That's what I'm doing. It's meant to look like my iPhone. I'm going to tape it and use the Waverly chalk paint in black called ink. And I'm going to draw the little camera and another little piece from the phone. And then I'm going to paint the black all around those areas where I've taped it off and where I just drew those little parts. Super easy. Then I'm going to paint the sides and the back and completely cover this whole thing with the ink chalk paint. I hope you guys will come visit me on social media. The best part, tape coming off. I love that. One thing I like to do is put a decoupage or a lightweight top coat over the top of something that I'm going to place vinyl or rub-on transfers or stickers on because I don't want to pull off the paint by accident. So I'm going to do that, and then I decide to cover the whole thing and dry it off with my heat tool from Amazon. And then I'm going to cut my wording into each line. That way I can place it and just make sure that I have it exactly where I want. You don't have to do that. That's what I chose to do. So there I am, removing the transfer tape with the letters on it now and putting it on my object, and then just using my little pokey tool for weeding to pull off the transfer tape. I want the option of being able to hang this or put it on a tiered tray to decorate for Christmas time, and so I'm just making this little piece of rope. I'm going to make a little loop, glue it together, and then wrap some around the bottom, and there's a hole at the top where there had been a little pumpkin stem, and I'm going to put some glue on it and place it right in there, and that's going to hold it really well. And now I've got this adorable little piece. You guys, I love Pinterest. How about you? Do you guys look at Pinterest for ideas too? And that's all there is to this one. It's done. Pretty simple. And sticks that I got at Lowe's. A package comes of 3 and it's under $2. And I'm actually going to use 6 of them. And then I'm going to use 2 of the smaller little paint stir sticks, a scrap piece of wood that came from something from the Dollar Tree, little pop-up stickers from the Dollar Tree. And then I've got this plaid ribbon and I'm going to use that. I'm not going to use that heart that you see there, but I thought I was at first. And then a Jot Black marker from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to use some burnt umber paint from Apple Barrel, some ink paint by Waverly, which is just black, and my Rust-Oleum Linden White chalk paint. First thing, I'm going to do some painting, get that all done. I'm going to paint 6 of these little pop-up stickers in the ink color. This DIY is inspired by a really cute project I saw on Pinterest, and dry them with my heat tool from Amazon. Now I'm going to take my paint stir sticks and I'm going to paint them all with that white paint. I want to cut them first because why paint things you don't need? So what I'm doing is making 2 taller, another 2 a little bit shorter, and then another 2 a little bit shorter than that. And I'm just going to use my little miter box saw from Dollar Tree and cut them. And now I'm going to take the smaller paint stir sticks and I'm going to measure just 2 little rectangles off of that, and that's going to be like the brim of a hat. And so I'm going to cut those with my miter shears from Amazon. The smaller paint sticks are thinner, so I can manage that with miter shears. Now I'm going to take that little scrap piece. I think it was from a pumpkin. It doesn't look like a pumpkin smile. And I'm going to cut these 3 little pieces, and those are going to be noses. And I use my miter shears to do that. And I'm going to grab the pumpkin Waverly chalk paint and paint them orange. You probably just figured out we're making snowmen. So I'm going to paint them orange and let them dry. And then I'm going to go ahead and start painting all those stir sticks in the linen white chalk paint. And I'm going to do both sides and the back. I like all of my projects to be finished, and so that's how I do it. And then I'm going to take a brush and just very lightly put some on the top of the nose that looks like maybe snow hit the snowman's nose. I'm going to use a combination of wood glue and hot glue, and I'm going to glue pieces together to make my snowman. So every 2 paint stir sticks, the large ones, are going to be a snowman. And they're 3 different heights, so there you can see them. Now I'm going to take my Waverly ink paint. I'm going to paint just the very top portion because that would be part of their black hat. And I'm going to do that on both sides as well of all 3 pieces. Then I'm going to take some tape just because I want the back side to have a clean line. The front side's going to have these little pieces which are the brim of the hat, and I painted those black as well. And then I will hot glue those right there, some at an angle and some straight on. Now it's time to make our snowmen look like snowmen. So I'm going to take the eyes that I painted black, put 2 on each snowman. And then I'm going to take a little bit of white paint and just kind of make those little white crescents in their eyes. And I made them each a little different so they'd have different personality. I kind of envisioned this as a family with a mom and dad and a little snowman. Now I'm going to put the noses on with some hot glue. I also used hot glue on the back of those stickers just to make sure they'd stay no matter what. Now I'm going to take that jot marker. I'm just going to make little happy faces on them. If you like to watch videos when you craft like I do, check out my mega video playlist. And I'm going to take some of my red crimson paint from Waverly and just barely tap on a little bit to make some rosy cheeks on each one. Then I'm going to take my white paint and use a stippling brush and just go over the tops where snow might land when it falls. And they're going to get that on the front and back of their hats. And then I've got these adorable red buffalo check beads I got on Amazon, and I'm going to glue 3 on each one for their little buttons. Aren't they the cutest? I'm going to take my plaid ribbon, tie one around each of their necks, and I'm going to make each one a little bit different length. Like the child will have a medium-sized one, the dad will have a shorter one, and the mom will have a longer one, just to be more fashionable, if you know what I mean. Aren't they cute? Now I need to fill that gap from the top of the paint stick, so I'm using a little bit of scrapbook paper and I'm just going to glue it on and then paint it black and then touch up the snow wherever I need to. And that makes it all just look like one solid piece of wood. But I liked the curves on the sides of the paint sticks because it really made it look like a hat. I'm going to take a little chalk marker from the Dollar Tree and just say, let's get cozy, and just regular printing, nothing fancy. Now I'm going to distress them a little with my burnt umber paint. Just going to dry brush it with a small brush, tap a little bit on very lightly in all of the seams and edges and just a teeny bit in the middle of them. I really like the way that's turning out. Now I need to attach them to each other, so I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue, and they're going to overlap a little bit. So the dad's going to be in the back and the mom will be when you're facing him on his left and the child will be to the right. And I love that because they are getting cozy just like it says. Now I needed something for them to be in. I wanted them to kind of be in like a little greenery kind of garden snowball thing. So I found this box that had a top. I unscrewed it, took it off, sanded it down, and I painted the whole box in the white linen chalk paint. Then I'm going to get some cardboard that I have from a box of something that I received in the mail, and I'm going to use it for filler because I don't want to fill the whole thing. I'm going to take this little dust mop from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to hot glue it in and over the edges so it looks like snow has fallen and is kind of falling out of it. Then I'm going to put the snowmen in the very back. I left a little gap there for them, and I am going to add some more snow around the back, and that's going to camouflage the staples that I end up using to attach it. And so I'm just going to glue that on there, and then I'm going to take my staple gun and I'm going to staple a couple of staples right into the thickest part, and then I'll put more snow. I've got little battery operated lights from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to attach that, and I'm going to hide the controls under the snow towards the snowman, but you make it so you can reach in and turn it off and on. I'm going to add some cute greenery. I'm going to flock it all, put some little mini pine cones from the Dollar Tree, flock everything because it looks like a snowstorm just happened and it's fallen all over. And then I'm going to take these little mini snowballs, got 2 different sizes, and I'm just going to start gluing them all over, and they've kind of got sparkles in them. They're also from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to add them wherever I can and make sure everything looks like snow fell on it. And then I feel like snowballs wouldn't all be the same size, so I'm going to add these little teeny ones all over in little bunches. The last thing I'm going to do is take my burnt umber and distress the box so that it matches. And that is it. This one is done. It's so cute. DIY. I've got those letters that spell out joy. I think those are gifted to me by a friend. I cut some of those pieces off of that white rag I used for another project, and I had this metal ornament from the Dollar Tree. And literally, I'm going to hot glue these stripes on across the front of the ornament and then bring them around the back and hot glue and just cut off the ends till they meet and add some little snow stripes, if you will. Now all that's left to do is glue on our letters, and I'm just using my hot glue for that. And they stick very well to that towel. And after I get the O on, I'm going to put that little snowflake right on the middle, but I'm going to use Mod Podge to do that because it's just made out of paper. And hot glue is going to make it
like kind of bubbly, I think. So I'm going to lay the Mod Podge around the letter O and then put the snowflake on top and then touch up the edges to make sure that it stays nice. And that is it for this one. It is done. It's so cute and it was so easy. You could make this in just a couple of minutes, honestly. It was just a piece of cake. And I hope you really enjoyed it.
Dollar Tree along with some wood I had at home, and also a couple things I got at Family Dollar, but all real cheap. There was some scraps, and then this was something I made a DIY with and then decided not to use it. Those are my miter shears from Amazon. They are easy to use for this kind of wood. If I mention that I got something at Amazon, there will be a link in my description box for my Amazon store, and you can find it there if it's something that you need to.
I'm going to take the twine out of this sign because I'm going to be cutting it down into a little, I don't know, almost a square. I'm going to make any cuts that I need right now. And it's always fun using my jigsaw. And now I'm going to paint all the pieces with my linen white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. Once they're done, I'm going to take this little square piece of scrapbook paper and I'm going to put some Mod Podge inside this little box and put it in there, and that's going to be the trunk of our tree. We're making a Merry Christmas tree. I'm also going to put Mod Podge over all the front of the pieces of wood. And then I use my Cricut and I cut out some words. So on the top of the tree it's going to say we. And then on the next plank it's going to say wish. And on this one it's going to say UA. And then I have the Merry one from Dollar Tree, and then on the bottom one it's going to say Christmas. So it's like a plank tree saying we wish you a Merry Christmas. And I'm going to use combinations of hot glue and E6000 to attach all the pieces and also some little nails. And then I needed something to secure those little thin pieces together, so I'm using these little beads from the Dollar Tree. They actually work really well with E6000 and hot glue to hold some pieces together. And then we're going to work on some bracing for the back because this is going to be a lot of stuff and it's kind of tall actually. So we need to make sure, and I'm going to mark the spots where things are going to go. And these are heavier pieces, the Merry and the Christmas plank. So I'm going to use a lot of E6000 on that one and make sure it really sets up because I don't want this thing to fall apart. I saw an ornament on Pinterest. This was inspired by Pinterest, and I decided to make an actual tree like this instead of just a Christmas ornament. And of course I added my own embellishments to it, and now I'm using some paint stir sticks to reinforce the back and give it more strength, and it'll kind of look like a tree trunk in the center there. And I'm going to do several nails on that, and then I'm also going to paint it white so that everything looks good even on the front and the back. Now I've got these little stars from the Dollar Tree. I painted them white first, and now I'm going to use my metallic silver from Folk Art. I'm going to hot glue them together. And I'll paint around the edges with the silver. And then I'm going to start bracing some more things on the back because I feel like just a little unstable, and I want to make sure that it fits. So I'm using scrap wood and stir stick pieces to do that, as you can see here, and it really makes for a very strong base. And I'm even going to hammer some of those in, not just hot glue them, if the piece is thick enough to withstand that. And I'm going to take these little beads that I also painted with the silver, and I'm going to put some little some hot glue on the inside and attach two corners or points of the star. And then I'm going to get some skewer sticks from Dollar Tree. I'm going to put those inside with glue, and then I'm going to paint those white and hot glue them to the very top of the tree, and that gives for a really nice stable star at the very top. And here we have a white tree with silver embellishments, and it's very much we wish you a Merry Christmas. Hope you guys like it. At the Goodwill, and it says it's 5 o'clock somewhere, which doesn't really fit my style. It's about 37.5 inches by 7.25 inches big, so very large. I cleaned it off, sanded it, and now I'm going to paint it with my White Kills primer. I'm going to do 2.5 coats total. I'm just going to finish placing all of my designs where I want them on the board and measure where the center is, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply them directly to the sign
I just love this piece. This was an inspiration from Pinterest that I saw. I didn't make it the same as the one I saw, but it inspired me to want to create one of my own and add my own spin to it.
I just love celebrating the Savior, and the nativity scene is such a beautiful way to do that.
And now for the fun part, which is putting them on the board. I love how this came out. Let me know what you think. On Pinterest, and I had to make it. So you take a little mini red Solo cup, and then you take some beads. They also have done it with like colored sprinkles, but I didn't have any of those. And I'm using my Arteza paint markers, and I am just painting. I decided to do 9 of each color that I picked, and I just picked the really bright, vibrant color. So there's actually 7 different colors, and I'm not going to bore you with watching me paint them all, but now they're all done. And I'm putting them into my clear bulb that I got at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to hot glue that opening of the bulb. I already took off the little metal hanging piece. I'm going to hot glue that directly to my little red Solo cup. And it already looks like a little gumball machine, doesn't it? And I'm going to take a very thin red and white ribbon to make a little hanger. I'm just going to hot glue that to the top. And now I need a little can opener, the lifty thing like you see on a soda can or a soup can. And so I've got one of those, and I just got some tin snips. Thank you, Kristen K, for the recommendation. And I'm going to cut off all the rough edges, cut off the little flippy thing, and I'm going to straighten it out now and hot glue it directly on the front of the little red cup. And it looks like the opening where the gumballs come out. And it is so cute and so easy, and literally this didn't even cost me $1, all things told. Tell me what you think. I just love it. It's 3 wood ornament shaped cutouts and some white tulle from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to use these little mini snowballs. They were gifted to me, but I think they came from the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to take these little mini red Solo cups, and they definitely came from the Dollar Tree. Those are so cute. I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen white, and I'm going to paint the front of these ornaments. After I paint all 3 of them, I'm going to use my heat tool from Amazon to dry them off. I'm going to use my metallic silver paint from Folk Art to paint the very tops of the ornaments, you know, the part that would normally be metal. Now I'm going to figure out how I'm going to position my little red Solo cup. I want to make like a little bucket, but I want it to lay flat on the ornament. So I'm going to cut half of it off roughly and then hot glue it to the front of one of the ornaments so that it is sitting there and I can fill it up with my little snowballs. Now it takes a little bit to cut it out, but you just have patience until you get it the right size and then flat enough. And there you go. I finally got it the way I wanted it, and I feel like it's too tall. So I'm going to cut it and then kind of overlap it to shorten it and hot glue those 2 pieces together. So now I have a better sized bucket. I didn't want it to cover the entire ornament. And now that I have the right size, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue that directly to the front of my ornament. I'm going to put a little extra hot glue on the inside to make sure it's very secure. I'm going to take my white tool and I'm going to measure. I want to cover that whole front from where the cup starts going down. It just kind of adds that little snowy effect, and it kind of dulls the red a little bit, which is what I wanted. And I'm going to go ahead and start hot gluing that and then trim it as I go. And when I get to the bottom, I'm going to fold it kind of like a Christmas present, where you kind of fold the 2 sides in and then pull it under, and you'll see me doing that. It's easier for you to watch than explain. Basically, I'm just securing this to the very front. I'm going to trim around the sides and make sure I don't have any excess hanging over. Hey, if you're on social media, come find me. I am on Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook. I'd love to see you there. And if I've inspired you to create anything, I'd love for you to send me a picture. And now I'm going to go ahead and wrap that bottom like a present, pushing in the sides and then folding that other piece down, and I will secure it with hot glue and trim it. And now it's on there just the way I want it. Now I'm going to take all those little mini snowballs. I'm going to see how many it takes to fill in. And I thought to myself, I don't need to fill up the whole thing. So I'm just going to start gluing them just below the surface of the top of the cup and then build up from there. And you'll never know that the bottom isn't filled. And that way I can save some of my little snowballs. And they're so cute already. I'm loving it. I'm just hot gluing them in there till I get as many in there as I think looks nice. There we go. Now I'm going to take one of the other ornaments and I'm just going to write in my own handwriting 5 cents. You know, that one wasn't too difficult. I didn't really need stickers or a Cricut for that. And then I'm going to do the same thing and write snowballs on the third ornament. Try to write it a little bit like the Ray Dunn font. That's what I like to do, but I never quite get it. And now I'm just going to glue all 3 pieces together with my hot glue, kind of stagger them so they're not straight across exactly. And it is so cute. Snowballs 5 cents with the little bucket. And now I'm going to cover the snowballs ornament with the tool because again, I really like that little snowy look. I'm just going to trim it and I'm going to do the same thing on the 5 cents. It just gives a nice cohesive look and it looks like it's been snowed on and I absolutely love it. I think it's so cute. So just hot gluing it on, trimming around the edges so it's nice and neat. And now I'm going to take my red and white baker's twine and I'm going to tie one side into the snowballs and one side into the 5 cents. And there you go. I've got my hanger. You guys, I love this one. Let me know what you think. I used those little footballs. Remember that sign in the fall with the pumpkins and the footballs from Dollar Tree? Well, I saved those and I sanded off all the glitter and now I'm just using my plaster colored Waverly chalk paint to cover the front and the sides. And once that dries, I'm going to Mod Podge some really cute plaid tissue paper over the top. And the reason I wanted to paint them first is I wanted the white to be underneath so the white in the tissue paper would stand out. Otherwise, sometimes it comes out looking brownish. And so this, you can kind of see around the edges the difference and I just like the way it looks better. So I'm using, on this one I am using Mod Podge and then I'm using some saran wrap and the brayer tools right there on the right, the black one, to make sure I don't have that many wrinkles or bubbles. And I did get a few wrinkles, but I'm okay with it because I'm going to be distressing this. So I don't mind if it looks a little older. So now I'm just waiting for the Mod Podge to dry, and when it does, I'm going to use my little sanding sponge and I'm just going to very carefully sand off the edges of the tissue paper and it just comes off so nice. And now it's time to decorate these little surfaces that I've created, and I've got this little red truck and a camper from Dollar Tree and then these little baby bottle brush Christmas trees from Dollar Tree. On the first one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hot glue the little camper and the truck on to the front of the ornament towards the bottom. And I just think they are adorable. And then I'm going to add a Christmas tree to the back. There's a plasticky one in there, but it looks so fake. So I added a little bottle brush one and I just used wire cutters to take off the little stand. And then I'm going to get some jute twine and I'm going to hot glue the start of it to the back and I'm going to wrap all around just randomly crisscross and glue it on the back whenever I can to keep it nice and taut and in the places where I actually want it. So it looks, you know, it is random, but I want it to look kind of nice anyway. I'm going to use that same red and white ribbon and make a little hanger for it and just hot glue it on the back. Put a lot of hot glue. And then I'm going to cut a little piece of a ribbon and put that over where the hot glue was. And that one's done, except for I will come back and distress it. For the second one, I found that on this little gift bag, there was a sign that says Merry Christmas and it had little pieces of foam underneath to kind of raise it up. So I'm going to use that and leave the foam on there, put hot glue on each of those little pieces and then put it right on the front of the ornament. And I just think it looks so cute and festive. And then the bag handles are this red rope, so I cut off the little metal ends and I just hot glued this around the whole entire ornament, and I just think it's a nice trim and it kind of finishes it off. Now I am going to come back and I'm going to distress this one too, and there I just made another hanger just the same as the other one. Now I'm going to take some burnt umber from Apple Barrel Paint and I'm just going to use it dry brush, where I just put a little bit on my brush, wipe most of it off, and then paint it over the top. And what I'm doing is trying to make it a little older and dirty and worn. And I'm also going to do it to the truck and the camper, like in the places where you would maybe see that, or if it's driving out in the wet muddy snow and stuff, you know, just to make it look a little bit older. And I really do like that effect, and my Christmas tree is very rustic, so this kind of works. And here they are, and I really love the way they turned out. You'll have to tell me what you think. I hope you guys like them. I love it so much. It looks so cute.
And it's just kind of fun and festive, but at the same time, it's got that rustic feel. And there's another Pinterest item that I found, again using the little red solo cup. And I used a piece of washi tape that's black and sparkly, and I put it around, and then I made a little gold belt buckle. And I used some of my white and gold Arteza paint markers, and I painted on the little gold buttons, and then I added what would be like the fur around the bottom and the top. And this is basically like a little Santa jacket. And so I put a hole in the top, and I just used my hot glue gun to do that, by the way. And I put some twine through, tied a knot, pulled it up, and then just for, you know, a little extra color, I added a little piece of buffalo check ribbon, just kind of hot glued it around the top. And that's it. That is how easy this one is to do. You could make a garland out of this. You could put little lights inside. So cute and easy and so inexpensive to make. I think this would be a great activity for kids. I mean, basically the whole family can participate. It would be so much fun, and it would be easy enough. And look how cute it turns out. Oh my gosh, can you picture a whole garland of that? I got some free printables online, and I also ordered a really cool book of scrapbook paper that had all kinds of Scottish plaids. It was really inexpensive on Amazon, like just over $5. I decided to trace just the part that looks like fabric in this printable, and I'm going to cut out a plaid to put right on there. And so what I'm doing right now is just penciling over the edges, and then I'm going to trace that by writing on the back side and kind of imprinting that pencil that I traced onto back of the scrapbook paper, and then I can cut it out. You'll see what I'm going to do here in just a second. In Scotland, the Great Highland bagpipe is perhaps the world's best known bagpipe, and it is native to Scotland. It's actually acquired widespread recognition because of its use in the British military and in pipe bands throughout the world. So you see here how the pencil marks transferred onto the back of the scrapbook paper, and now I can just go ahead and cut that out. The next thing I'm going to do is Mod Podge that little piece of the plaid scrapbook paper right onto my printable and get rid of that weird looking one that came out of my printer, because I want to customize this a bit and make it really cute so it will look like a nice ornament. A little trick that I use after putting Mod Podge on the top is to get a piece of plastic wrap or a Ziploc bag and put it over, and that way nothing sticks to my brayer and I can roll out any bubbles and make sure everything makes contact. Since I don't want to throw anything away, I want to be very thrifty. I have some cardboard from a box that I got, and I'm going to use that to give some substance and structure to my ornament. So I'm now Mod Podging that onto a piece of cardboard. The next thing I'm going to do is cut out around the actual shape of the bagpipes. So just quick question, how many of you are already starting to decorate for Christmas? Let me know what you're doing. I'm going to use my Arteza paint markers and just color in some of the bagpipes and the metal and all of the pieces just to bring them more to life and give this a little bit more of a three-dimensional feel. Plus, the colors got kind of muted when I printed them out, so I really wanted to make sure that they stood out more. The next thing I'm going to do with my white marker is I'm going to write the Gaelic words for Merry Christmas. Well, I don't speak Gaelic, but I will do my best to pronounce it for you. It is Nally Criel. I hope I did that right, so if you're Scottish, feel free to correct me somehow. Now, those of you who know me know that I can never just leave it like it is. I have to add more, so here I am, adding more again. To finish it off, I added some nautical rope around the edges just to give it a more finished look. And then I put a little popsicle stick on the back and put a little bit of twine so that you could hang it on the tree. And I just hot glued that, and it gave it more support and a place for hanging. I just love how this one turned out. I was worried it would be really hard to cut around all the bagpipe pieces, but it wasn't too bad. I just decided to leave some of them together like that because it was just too much trouble, but I think it's adorable. And I love that I was able to put the Gaelic words of Merry Christmas on there too. I cut out a little printable of the country of Scotland. Now there's a lot of little islands and little inlets, so I couldn't cut it exact. But then I took another piece of cardboard and I measured out a square, and that's what I'm going to use to support this because it's a lot smaller than the other ones.
I chose another piece of the scrapbook paper, the Scottish plaid, and I'm going to put that over the entire cardboard. And then the map of Scotland's going to sit right on top, and everything's going to be Mod Podge just like before. But I'm going to do something a little bit different with this one, which you will see in a moment. I'm going to use a blue Sharpie to trace all the way around the entire borders of the country of Scotland. I'm going to use a blue Arteza paint marker to color inside all of the border lines that I created. Now I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to make crossbars going diagonally across the country. Now what I'm doing is creating the Scottish flag over the country, just because I thought that would be super cool. And now I'm using my white Arteza paint marker to color in the crossbars, and that will make the Scottish flag. Doesn't that look neat? So just a little info. The flag of Scotland is a white X-shaped cross, which represents the cross of the patron saint of Scotland, St. Andrew, on a blue sky. And the flag is called the Saltire or the St. Andrew cross. That was pretty interesting. I did not know that. And being my extra self, I added a little white border. I added some nautical rope around and I left extra at the top because this is going to actually hang diagonally. I used a little bit of jute twine to wrap around the top to create that little extra support. Added 3 beads, one was painted white, and then left a loop at the top to hang it. And there it is. I absolutely love the way this one came out, and I love the way the flag looks kind of over the country. It's just a really cool effect, and I'm so happy with how it came out. Tell me what you think in the comments. This ornament is going to be the cutest little Scottish Terrier dog. Oh my gosh. I always think of Scotland when I see a Scottish Terrier. Using the same tracing technique as I have done on the other ones, I'm going to cut out some of the plaid and put it on where his little sweater is and just kind of cover that up. And I'm using the Royal Stuart, which is our family's tartan. I'm going to Mod Podge everything on just like I have before, and I won't really have to say too much because you've seen me do this already a few times now. One thing that I did do different is I decided to braid 3 strands of the jute twine to make the hanger. And it's interesting because in Scotland they don't say braid, they say plait, P-L-A-I-T. Isn't he the cutest? Oh my gosh. His face is so adorable, and I love the little plaid on him. It's just adorable. I love it. For this ornament, I'm using some jute twine, one of the little wooden snowmen cutouts from Dollar Tree, a really cool kilt that I had, which is really for a wine bottle, and then I've got some paint, ink by Waverly, a white sample I got at Lowe's, pumpkin by Waverly, crimson, and then I end up using a teeny bit of the antique wax as well by Waverly. I separated the wood from the stand, and I'm using the one side that doesn't have any cutouts, and I'm going to cut down the sides so that the little kilt will fit on it. Those little extra humps were in the way, so I'm just using a blade to do that. So a little background on the kilt. For anyone of Scottish ancestry, the kilt is a symbol of honor for the clan which they belong. It was first worn by those who lived in the Scottish Highlands. The kilt was a manner of dress that afforded the fighting army with possibly its most useful tool. Today, the kilt is the national dress of Scotland, and it's worn by many. In fact, my husband has one, and he wore one at our wedding. As you can see, I'm painting the snowman white on both sides, and I did 2 coats to get a good covering. I'm using the ink chalk paint to paint his hat on both sides, and I'm going to use that same color for his eyes and for his mouth and his buttons. I made one of his eyes winking, but not so sure if it came out like a winking eye. You'll have to let me know. I attached the kilt with a dab of hot glue in the front and the back. I saved the wood sticks from my foam brushes, so I cut off a little piece and I made that his little corncob pipe. And I used a little piece of a skewer for the actual handle of the pipe. And I used the Waverly Antique wax on the handle, and then I just used ink on the pipe itself. To create his scarf, I used some jute twine, which I wrapped around his neck, and then I made a little tassel by wrapping it around my fingers. I have a video where I show you specifically how to do it, so I will link that down in the description and up in the cards. That way I won't have to explain it. And that's how I made his little scarf. I used a little piece of jute twine to create a hanger on the back. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't have a few extra things to add. So I made a little red stripe on the front and back of his hat, which I actually think really added a lot. The other thing is I decided to add some smoke to his pipe. So I used a little bit of the cotton off of the Q-tip, and it was perfect because it kind of has a swirl to it and it looks just like smoke. You guys, I'm pretty sure this one is my favorite. I love snowmen, and then I love that he's wearing a kilt. So cute. And then I love the smoke on the pipe. I had so much fun making this one. You'll have to tell me what you think. I got these little teeny, I don't know what they're called, little mini plates kind of from the Dollar Tree. It came with like 10 in a container, so 10 for $1. And I had all these little mini gift bags I had bought that also came together. And what I did is I just took off the little tags, you know, where you'd write to and from. And then I'm going to use this tight bond instead of Mod Podge because I wanted to try it. I know I've done it before and it does dry clear, so I thought, what the heck, let's just try it. Didn't cost as much, you know, overall as the Mod Podge did. I ordered it on Amazon. So I'm attaching those to the little cards that I cut out to the fronts and insides of those little plates. Now, I'm not going to show you all of these ornaments individually. Some of them I was just experimenting with different techniques, like I hot glued a ribbon around, I did some tissue paper decoupage on one, added some pine cones on another, and I ended up going back to this pine cone one and I added a bunch of pine cones, some little sparkly balls and red balls, and I made snow. Now I'm putting some nautical rope around. I mean, I was just kind of experimenting, so I'm not going to bore you with all of that. I think these would be fun to do with kids, and you'll see here shortly what they kind of look like at this point. I did go back and distress them, and then like I said, I added tons more to that pine cone one. I love it now. The other ones I'm not as happy with, so let's just forget those, but this one I really like. What do you think? Got these leftover cardboard circles from a picture from Dollar Tree that I didn't use, and I thought, you know what, I could make some really cute Christmas ornaments. So I designed 4 ornaments, and I will have the Brie printables, except for the one that says the Stewarts, because that's my name and you probably don't want it. But I will have these available with a link down in my description box as well in case you want to make these. And what I'm going to do is I printed them out on the water slide decal paper. Then what you do is you go, well, I went outside and you use a clear glaze, like a spray clear coat, and you do 3 coats 10 minutes apart so that it dries. Now I'm cutting out each of the ornaments. So I'm going to, of course, you know, cut them into smaller pieces and then cut out the circles for all 4 of them. It's a really cool concept, and when you see how it works, you'll be pretty amazed like I was. It's hard to imagine how this is going to work, but when you see how it works in a little bit here, you'll be pretty blown away. I'm going to take some Crimson Waverly chalk paint. I'm going to paint around the edges of each of these round pieces of cardboard. And I actually did 3 coats. I'm going to dry those with my heat tool from Amazon. Then I'm going to get some really cute scrapbook paper I got at Hobby Lobby, and it's Christmas paper. I just love it. And I'm going to pick 4 different ones, and I'm going to trace out my circles on them, and then I will cut all 4 of those out. Then I'm going to pick the piece that I want for each particular ornament, and I'm going to use some Mod Podge and I'm going to adhere it. Now I'm going to make sure I don't put a heavy coat because I don't want any bubbles or ripples. So I'm just going to put some on, use my brayer, which is also from Amazon, and I will go ahead and adhere that to the cardboard. I will do that with all 4 of my ornaments. And of course I'll speed it up so that you can see it not in real time. Once I get all 4 of my ornaments set with the scrapbook paper on the back, I'm just going to take a nail file, but you could also use sandpaper or a sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree. And I did a close-up here so you could see I'm sanding down. I'm not going up and down, just down. And it's separating the paper at the edge, and it will make a really nice clean finish. You just kind of keep sanding down all the way around whatever piece you're working on, and it'll just come right off. And in a second here, you will see how the piece is separating. There it is. It's starting to separate right now. And then you just go ahead and you just take that right off. And it's just a perfect way to get a nice edge when you decoupage. I'm going to take this furniture marker that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to go around the edges of the pieces because I want them to look finished. I don't want to see the cardboard on there. I'm going to put some Mod Podge over the top of this side because what I want is it to be a nice smooth surface to put the water slide decal on. Now you may be wondering why it's called water slide decal. Well, you will see in just a few minutes here why. Now I'm going to take each of my decals and I'm going to put them with the appropriate scrapbook paper because I had picked them individually. And this is when I realized that I shouldn't have made my red border quite as thick. So I'm going to take some white chalk paint from Folk Art and I'm going to paint in the center. Now, if I had this to do again, I would have painted even more white and made an even thinner red border, and you'll see why in a minute here. And now for the magic. You put the little decal into water for 30 to 60 seconds. I had already put this one in and I just remembered I needed to get the top of my ornament wet. You want to get the top of your surface wet. So then I quickly got it wet again, and then you kind of dab it off. And watch, I am pushing with my thumb the decal right off the paper and then pulling with my other hand the backing out. And now I'm just going to smooth it out. Remember, it's wet, so it's easy to smooth around and kind of reposition it. Tell me that is not the coolest thing. I had no idea that's how this was going to work, and I'm very impressed. It's very cool. Once you get it in place and you've smoothed out the bubbles, then you go ahead and take like a paper towel and just dab it off lightly so that you can get the excess water. But it is very easy to just rub right on it, and if you see another bubble, just get it wet again and smooth it out. And I'm literally going to do this with all 4 of my ornaments. Now I'm going to go slow again so that you can see this. I'm going to put the decal in the water. Now this is slightly sped up so you don't realize how long it's really in there, but while it's in there, I'm wetting the actual surface down, and then when the 30 to 60 seconds is up, I will pull my decal out of the water, tap it off so it's not dripping, and then I will slide the decal up a little so I can start putting it on the surface and then pulling out the backing. And again, smoothing it out. Is that not the coolest thing? And it's so inexpensive. I'm very impressed. I mean, this is very, very cool. And I designed the decals. That's the neatest part of all. You can make anything you want. So now here I'm doing the third one. It's the same process for all of them, but I wanted you to be able to see it a few times because it is different than anything I've ever done before. One thing to keep in mind is that the decals come out on a clear surface, or, you know, when you slide it off, you see how it's clear. That's why I probably needed to do less of the red background, but I didn't realize that till I did it the first time. Now that I have all 4 of my ornaments, I need to make a hole to hang them. So I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile, one of my favorite tools. I got it at Amazon, and I'm literally just going to punch a hole at the top of each one. And that way I'll be able to string something in there, and I will be able to hang these on my tree or wherever I decide that I want to hang them. I have this red poly rope that you get in the automotive section at Dollar Tree. It's red and white actually, and I love it because it looks like candy cane or peppermint, and I'm just going to string it right in there. Now I was able to get the first one in just the way I'm doing it right now, but then I had to get a needle out and thread that because it was a lot easier because there's 3 pieces, so it tends to want to separate. So if you have like a upholstery needle or something, that'd probably be the easiest way to do this. And then I'm just going to cut off and make a knot at the top, and that way I'll have a way to hang my ornaments. And I'll do that with all 4 of my ornaments. Off camera, I took a white Arteza paint marker and I went over the letters that got lost in the red border that I had painted a little bit too thick. So I was able to touch that up, and you'll see in the final pictures at the end how you can actually read the letters much better. I absolutely love the way these turned out. I think they're so cute. They're so personalized. I didn't have to use a cutting machine, saved a ton of money, and I love it. So let me know, have you ever heard of water slide decals? And have you ever tried them? If you have heard of them, let me know what you think. And is this something you would ever want to try, especially those of you who don't have a cutting machine and need an alternative way to do something like this? Homemade ornament, I'm going to use a little teeny embroidery hoop I got at Walmart and some fabric that I also got at Walmart. And I'm going to loosen up the screw at the top so I can separate the 2 pieces. And then I'm just going to open up my fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and figure out, what I need to do to get the right size. And then I'm going to trim around the outside ones. I kind of slip that in there, tighten the top. And that's actually the easiest way to do it, is just put it in there and then cut it out instead of like tracing a circle. This is way faster. Then I just take my little scissors and I cut even more off. And I've got a bunch of these little laser cut shapes that I had ordered, and so I'm looking for some that I think would be fun. So I've got a bunch of different snowflakes, and then I'm going to put some bells on there, and then I'm going to put a little rocking horse in the middle. And I've got a bunch of different color ribbons that coordinate with the fabric. I'm just going to make a very simple bow using like the awareness ribbon type style, where you wrap it around and then pinch down the middle and tie around the center to make it tight. And I'm going to use a little bit of twine to do that. This is so easy. So easy, you guys. You could make a bunch of these, all different colors and shapes and whatever. And once I have my bow the way I want it, I'm going to secure it with hot glue to the very top. And I'm going to trim the sides a little bit, kind of an angle cut. And then I'm also going to attach a little bit of twine inside where the little screw is so that I can make a hanger. So I'm just going to pull it through. I had to kind of shove it in with into my little scissors, tie a knot, and this one is done. Easy and so cute. And another really easy ornament, I'm using this wreath that went with this reindeer that I used for another DIY. And I'm going to use these little wood cutouts again and my linen white chalk paint by Rust-Oleum. And what I'm going to do now, as I'm showing you the paint, is just awful. You guys, look what I did. Oh my gosh, can you believe this? Oh, I spilled my paint. Oh, it's horrible. See, I reversed it because it made me feel better. Like I got it back. Oh, I ended up just leaving it there and using it until I was done. And then I had to dig out the little cutouts. And anyway, okay, moving on. I am going to paint that entire wreath in that chalk paint and then all of the little cutouts. And then I have to dig them out because they're buried in there. And then I clean up the mess and unfortunately had to waste a bunch of paint. So sad. Okay. Then I'm going to take my antique wax by Waverly and I'm going to go ahead and go over the little ornaments because I wanted them to look like stained wood. Yeah, I could have just done that from the beginning, but I like the way it looks when you put the white first. So now I'm going to hot glue little reindeer And then I'm going to put the little Christmas trees on there. And then I've got these adorable red buffalo check beads that I ordered on Amazon. And I put 4 of those on. And then some little green pine picks. And I just cut it off of another pick. And I'm hot gluing that right on there. And I mean, we're almost done. That's how easy this is. And then I'm going to put some little baby pine cones on there. You guys, I just love how cute this is and how easy. Then I'm going to take a bell that I already had that was green, and I'm going to put that on there, and I'm going to take a little bit of buffalo check ribbon to match the beads and tie that on, and I have a hanger. Guys, that's it. So easy and absolutely adorable. Ornament, I am going to take 3 of these little wood cutouts that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I picked a small one, a medium one, and a little bit of a bigger one. And very carefully, I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum chalk paint and linen white, and I'm going to just like kind of dry brush. I mean, a little heavier than dry brush, but I'm not going to like solid paint over it. What I'm doing is I'm dabbing on the sides too. I just want it to look like kind of snow. And I've got this little piece of scarf, and I'm going to cut off a little teeny portion of it. I'm going to take a jot marker from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make eyes and a mouth. Then I'm going to take this little berry garland. I'm going to cut one off, and it's already orange, so I'm just going to hot glue it right on there. It's a perfect little nose. Now I'm going to take my buffalo check ribbon with red and black, and I'm going to hot glue it along the back to attach the 3 pieces. Now I'm going to roll over the top of that little scarf piece because it's a little bit too thick, and I'm going to wrap it around my snowman, and I'm going to hot glue it down and give him a cute little scarf. And then I'm going to trim like those long tassels because obviously for this size scarf it doesn't work. And I'm going to use that ribbon to create a hanger and hot glue that down. I'm just going to make some buttons. You guys, this one is done and it's adorable, and he is so easy to make. This homemade ornament, I'm going to take one of those little wood slices from Hobby Lobby and some more of those little cutouts. I'm going to use fake snow from the Dollar Tree and a couple of little bottle brush trees, also either from Hobby Lobby or the Dollar Tree because I got them both places and now I'm not sure which ones. So I'm going to hot glue 3 of the little trees right onto the top of the wood slice. I'm going to hot glue 2 of the little reindeer together to make it thicker, and then another 2 because I'm going to have 2 reindeer standing there, and now I can get them to stand up with the hot glue because they're a little bit thicker. So I've got the 2 of them facing one another, and then I'm going to use my white chalk paint by Folk Art, and I'm going to flock all the trees, including the one that's already white because I want it to look like it has snow on it. I'm going to put a little bit of flocking on top of the deer and then on the bottom, and then I'm going to start hot gluing this fake snow. Okay, I will never use this snow again because it's like the electricity gets to it in the air. Tried the spray glue adhesive. I mean, it was everywhere. Oh my gosh. You can't pick it up because it sticks to everything. Anyway, wherever there was a little gap, I put some white paint and I just dried it off with my heat tool. And then I'm going to take 2 pieces of twine, crisscross them in front of me, and lay down this slice on there. Bring up the 2 pieces, just tie them all together, and I'm creating a little hanger because it's going to be a little scene that hangs on the Christmas tree. I'm going to hot glue it to the bottom to make sure the little twine doesn't move. You guys, I absolutely love this. I think it is just precious. This ornament is so cute and personalized. So I got these little wooden clothespins from Hobby Lobby and the little people shapes from Hobby Lobby. And I counted out enough for my husband and I and each of our kids. So he has 3, I have 2. And then I kind of chopped off the bottoms of some of them to align for height differences. And you don't have to do that part. and sanded the bottom to make sure that it wasn't rough. So once I have all of them cut, I cleaned up the sawdust with my little ladybug vacuum from Amazon. Now these 3 little people I'm going to use for my dogs actually. So the clothespins are going to be for people. My dogs are white Bichon Poodle mixes. So I painted them with the Rust-Oleum chalk paint and linen white. I did all 3 of them and dried them with my heat tool. Then I'm going to use this mop head to create like their ears, their legs, and their tails. So I'm just going to kind of, figure out how much I need, how thick or how thin, and I separate the little, sections there. And I'm just going to hot glue the ears on and, like I said, the legs and the tails. I'm going to do that for all 3 of my dogs. Do you like to watch videos while you are crafting or doing other things? Well, if you do, I have a mega video playlist down in my description box, and I hope you'll check it out. Now, I'm only going to show you one dog because they really are all the same in terms of how I did it. So there they are, all 3 of the pups. And now I'm going to take my Burnt Umber by Apple Barrel, and I'm going to paint all of the people. And then I'm going to take my white wax by Waverly and go over it to lighten them up a little. I wanted them to just have like a little bit of a distressed look, but I didn't want them to be the raw wood. So there they are. And now I'm going to figure out how I'm going to assemble them, and I'm going to hot glue the pieces together. Now you could use E6000 and hot glue. I decided to just use the hot glue on this. I'm not too worried about it. It's not bearing any weight. So now I'm going to take a very fine marker that I have that I used for my planner, and I'm just going to put the animals' names on there. So I have Bella, Sophie, and then Shane. And you can see there I misspelled my dog's name, so I had to paint white over it again and fix it. But hey, that's easy. That's not a big deal. Now I'm going to take a very fine art brush and just put all the names of the people. So we've got Val and Julie and Steven, and those are my husband's kids, and then Amy and Mike are mine, and then there's my husband and I on there. So there I was fixing the dog's name. Now I'm going to put Sophie in the middle, standing up because she loves to stand in the prairie dog position, and then I'll put Shane on one side and Bella on the other. It is so cute. I mean, you could make this as gifts for other friends or family, use as many as you need. I'm going to take my red and white baker's twine, I'm going to attach it to the back, and that's it. This one's done, and it is super, super cute. This ornament is super easy. I am using this ornament from the Dollar Tree and this little person from Hobby Lobby and a piece of a drop cloth. And then also it's a hula skirt I chopped up. And what I'm going to do is take the burnt umber and mix it with some water. I'm going to spray the little baby. I'm calling this the baby Jesus now. I'm going to paint it with the burnt umber because it will make it just a brown skinned little baby, which I do believe that Jesus was brown skinned, being where he came from. And I am going to cut up this little drop cloth. I'm going to make it like when you wrap up a baby. I'm going to hot glue it to the little baby Jesus and wrap him up, but I'm using the hot glue. Of course, you wouldn't hot glue a baby, right? So now I'm going to wrap this around the little baby Jesus and just get him all snuggled in there because I just want him to look like he's swaddled. And I could have used a cute little white wrap or something like that, but I thought this seemed more authentic. I mean, he was born in a manger after all. I'm sure whatever they had wasn't really fancy. So I wanted this to look kind of worn and tattered, like that's his humble beginnings, There he is. How adorable. And then I'm going to paint the top of this little ornament cap with that brushed metal gold. And I just love the way it looks. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to take my raffia. I'm going to put some Mod Podge, glue type stuff down in the base or the lid, if you will, and try to get that raffia to stick. And then I was trying to get the little baby Jesus in there. I used a couple of tumbling tower blocks to make like a little bed. And he just wouldn't fit right, so I had to add a few more tumbling tower blocks. You'll see me hot gluing those into the lid in a minute, just so that it would stay. So there I am, and I just kind of really quickly brushed them with that burnt umber paint, just made them look worn, and I'm going to end up needing 2 right there. It still wasn't enough, and so now I've got something to kind of lift it up, and I can still close the lid, which actually ends up on the bottom on this ornament.
Now I did use another ornament first and it was a disaster, so when you see it in the reveal picture, I just didn't want to retake all of the pictures. So there is baby Jesus just sitting on that right there, and now I switched out the silver lid for the gold one, and I love this so much. You could make this with your kids or grandkids and tell them the story of Jesus. Thank you for watching. You are truly a blessing to me. Let me know which one was your favorite today. I've got another video on the screen that I think you'll really like, so if you click on it, I will see you there. Bye.